Một người phụ nữ bị chồng mình vứt bỏ giữa đêm mưa, gần như chết. Nhưng kẻ cứu cô lại là ông trùm mafia nguy hiểm nhất thành phố. Đó không phải lòng tốt, đó là quyền sở hữu. Và khi cô tỉnh dậy trong dinh thự của hắn, Aria Vance nhận ra một sự thật đáng sợ. Chồng cô đã dùng cô làm vật trao đổi với băng đảng đối thủ. Nhưng Lucien Varec, người đàn ông không ai dám chạm vào, đã quyết định khác. Cô không phải món hàng, cô là chiến lợi phẩm.
Theo dõi câu chuyện đến hết, nhận thích và comment tên thành phố bạn đang xem. Tôi muốn biết câu chuyện này đã đi được bao xa.
The rain didn't just fall, it punished. It hammered the cracked asphalt of the alley with a violence that swallowed every other sound. No sirens, no voices, just water and wind and the wet slap of Aria Vance's body hitting concrete. She couldn't scream. Her lungs were crushed against her ribs, breath locked somewhere deep and unreachable. Pain exploded across her spine, her shoulder, the side of her skull. The world tilted, blurred, went dark at the edges. Above her, taillights, red, fading.
Caleb's car, her husband's car, leaving.
She tried to move. Her fingers scraped against gravel and glass. Her mouth opened, but nothing came out except a choked gasp that tasted like blood and rainwater. The alley stank of piss and rot and something chemical she couldn't name. Dumpsters lined the brick walls like iron sentries, their shadows long and indifferent.
Aria's vision swam. She saw the edge of a fire escape overhead, rusted and dripping. She saw the glow of distant streetlights beyond the alley's mouth, unreachable as stars. She saw her wedding ring, still on her finger, still gold, still a lie. He pushed me. Not metaphorically, not emotionally. He pushed her. Out of a moving car, onto pavement. Like trash. Her body convulsed, trying to pull air into lungs that felt flattened. Her ribs screamed. Her vision sparked white, then red, then black. She was drowning in open air. Get up. The thought came from somewhere primal, somewhere animal, but her legs wouldn't respond. Her arms trembled and gave out. She collapsed again, cheek pressed to wet stone, eyes half open. The rain kept falling, then footsteps. Slow, deliberate. The kind of footsteps that didn't rush, didn't hesitate. The kind that belonged to someone who owned the ground they walked on. Aria's vision blurred worse. She saw a shape, tall, broad-shouldered, moving through the downpour like it didn't exist. A man. Not running to help, just walking, observing. She tried to speak, her lips moved. Nothing. The footsteps stopped. A pause. Then a voice. Low, controlled. The kind of voice that didn't need to be loud to command. Don't move. Aria's breath hitched. She didn't have the strength to obey or disobey. She just lay there, shaking, bleeding into the rain. The man crouched beside her. She could barely make out his face through the water streaming into her eyes, but she saw enough. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that didn't blink, a suit that cost more than her car. No, more than her life. He didn't touch her, not yet. He just studied her like she was a problem to solve. Who did this? His voice was calm. Too calm. Aria's mouth opened. A sound came out, half sob, half breath. Husband, she managed. The word barely existed. The man's expression didn't change, but something shifted in the air around him, something cold and final. Name. She couldn't answer. The darkness was pulling her under, thick and heavy. Her eyes rolled back. Stay with me. Not a request, an order. But she couldn't. The world folded in on itself, and Aria Vance disappeared into it. When she woke, the first thing she felt was softness. Wrong. All wrong. Her body should have been broken on concrete. Instead, she was lying on something that felt like clouds. Silk. No. Actual high thread count fabric that didn't exist in her world. Aria's eyes snapped open. Ceiling. White. Tall. Crown molding that looked hand-carved. A chandelier. A real one, crystal and gold, hung above her like something out of a period drama. Panic spiked. She tried to sit up. Pain detonated across her torso, and she gasped, collapsing back against pillows that were too soft, too expensive, too wrong. Easy. That voice again. Aria's head jerked toward the sound. Her vision focused slowly, painfully. The man from the alley stood near the window, backlit by gray morning light. He was still wearing the suit, or maybe a different one, impossible to tell. Dark, tailored, perfect. His hands were clasped behind his back, posture military straight. He watched her the way a surgeon watches a wound. Where? Aria's voice cracked. Her throat felt like sandpaper. Where am I? Safe. That's not an answer. It's the only one that matters right now. Aria's hands gripped the sheets. Her body screamed at her to run, but she couldn't even sit up without her ribs threatening to cave in. She looked down. She was wearing clothes, not hers. A soft cotton shirt, loose pants, clean. Someone had changed her. Her pulse spiked. Who the hell are you? The man stepped closer. Not threatening, just present, filling the space. Lucien Varick. The name hit her like a second impact. Everyone in the city knew that name. You didn't have to run in criminal circles to know it. Lucien Varick was a ghost story told in boardrooms and back alleys alike. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice because people were already afraid. Aria's breath came faster. Yes. Why am I here? Because you were dying in an alley, and I decided you wouldn't. Simple, factual, terrifying. You should have taken me to a hospital. No. That's not... A hospital would have called the police. The police would have asked questions. Questions lead to reports. Reports lead to exposure. You don't want exposure right now. Aria stared at him. You don't know what I want. Lucien's gaze didn't waver. Your husband threw you out of a moving vehicle in one of the most dangerous parts of the city at 2 in the morning. Either he wanted you dead or he wanted you found by someone who'd make you wish you were. Either way, a hospital is the first place he'd look. The logic was airtight, and that made it worse. So what? Aria's voice shook. You just took me? I retrieved you. That's the same thing. No, it's not. Silence stretched between them, heavy and suffocating. Aria forced herself to sit up, ignoring the way her body protested. She needed to be upright for this, needed to not feel like prey. What do you want from me? Lucien tilted his head slightly, as if the question was curious. Nothing. Bullshit. Nobody does something for nothing, especially not... She gestured vaguely at him, at the room, at everything. You. You're right, I don't. So I haven't decided yet. The honesty was worse than a lie. Aria's hands clenched into fists, even though it made her knuckles ache. I want to leave. No, you don't. Don't tell me what you want revenge. Lucien's voice didn't rise, but it cut through hers like a blade. You want to know why your husband tried to kill you. You want to hurt him the way he hurt you. And most of all, he stepped closer, close enough that she could see the exact shade of his eyes, dark gray, like smoke over steel. You want to survive long enough to do all of that. Aria's breath caught, because he was right. Every word. I can't help you with the first two, Lucien continued. But the last one? That I can guarantee. Why? Because right now you're in a very specific kind of danger, the kind that doesn't end when you walk out of here. Your husband didn't just attack you, he used you. Aria's stomach dropped. Used me how? Lucien's jaw tightened, just barely, just enough to notice. Caleb Vance has debts, the kind you don't pay with money. I don't understand. You were offered as collateral. The room tilted. Aria's mouth opened, but no sound came out. 3 days ago, Lucien said, voice flat and factual. Your husband approached a rival organization. He promised them leverage over me, a way to force my hand in a territorial dispute. He told them he had access to something I'd value. What? You. Aria's pulse roared in her ears. That doesn't make sense. I've never even met you. No, but Caleb thought you would. How? Lucien's expression didn't change, but something flickered behind his eyes, something cold and controlled. He planned to deliver you to them, let them hold you, use you to manipulate me into concessions, but he got nervous, decided it was easier to just remove the variable. Aria felt like she was falling again. You're saying he tried to kill me because he thought you'd care? Yes. But you don't even know me. Correct. So why the hell did you save me? Lucien was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was quieter, sharper. Because I don't let other men tell me what I value. The words hung in the air like smoke. Aria stared at him, trying to make sense of it, trying to understand the man standing in front of her. A man whose reputation was built on violence and control, who'd saved her life for reasons that had nothing to do with kindness. What happens now? She asked finally.
You heal, you rest, and when you're strong enough, you decide. Decide what? Whether you want to disappear or whether you want to make them regret ever using your name. Aria's throat tightened. Her hands shook. She thought of Caleb, his smile, his lies, the way he'd looked at her in the car before he shoved her out. Not angry, not guilty. Just tired. Like she was a chore he'd finally finished. If I stay, she said slowly, what does that make me? Lucien's gaze held hers. Alive. 3
days passed. Aria didn't see Lucien much after that first conversation. He was a ghost in his own house, present but untouchable, always somewhere else. The estate was massive, sprawling, the kind of place that had wings and courtyards and rooms she suspected no one had entered in years. She was given everything she needed, clothes that fit, food that tasted like it came from a restaurant, not a kitchen, medical attention from a man who never gave his name and never asked hers. But no freedom. The doors weren't locked. No one stopped her from walking the halls. But there were always people, men in dark suits, women in crisp uniforms, moving through the space like blood through veins, watching without watching, present without engaging. Aria tested the boundaries once. She walked to the front door, hand on the handle. A voice behind her. I wouldn't. She turned. One of Lucien's men, tall, scarred, expression unreadable. Why not? Because the people your husband sold you to are still looking, and they're not patient. Aria's hand dropped. She went back to her room. On the 4th day, Lucien returned. He found her in the library, a room so large it felt obscene, shelves stretching 2 stories high, filled with books that looked older than her bloodline. She was sitting in a leather chair by the window, staring out at the gardens. Manicured, perfect, lifeless. You're healing faster than expected, Lucien said. Aria didn't look at him. Good genes. Or stubbornness. Same thing. He moved into her periphery, hands in his pockets. Casual. But Lucien Varick didn't do casual. Everything about him was calculated. I need to ask you something, he said. Go ahead. How much do you know about your husband's business? Aria's fingers tightened on the armrest. Nothing. He didn't talk about work. Not once? Not in detail. He said he worked in acquisitions, real estate mostly. Lucien's mouth curved, not quite a smile. He lied. I'm aware. Caleb Vance runs a smuggling operation, small scale, weapons, prescription drugs, occasionally people. He's not important enough to be dangerous, but he's useful enough to stay alive. Or he was. Aria finally looked at him. Was? His creditors are losing patience. Offering you was a desperate play. When it failed, he lost his value. So he's dead? Not yet. But soon. Lucien tilted his head. Does that bother you? Aria thought about it. Really thought. She waited for guilt, for grief, for something. Nothing came. No, she said quietly. Lucien studied her. Good. Why is that good? Because attachment is a liability, and you can't afford liabilities right now. Aria stood, ignoring the dull ache in her ribs. Stop talking to me like I'm part of your world. I'm not. You are. The moment your husband used your name in a room full of criminals, you became part of this. The moment I pulled you out of that alley, you became part of this. You don't get to choose whether you're involved, only how you survive it. Then let me go. Where? The question was simple. The answer wasn't. Aria had no family, no close friends, no job anymore. Caleb had convinced her to quit months ago, said he'd take care of everything. She had nothing. No money, no home, no identity outside of Mrs. Vance. And that name was poison now. Lucian saw the realization cross her face. He didn't gloat. He just waited. "You want me to stay?" Aria said finally. "I want you to be smart. And if I'm not, then you'll be dead within a week." Aria's breath came shallow. "You're really not going to let me leave. I'm not stopping you, but I'm not protecting you if you walk out that door. That's the same thing." "No," Lucian said, voice soft and absolute. "It's not." But that night, Aria couldn't sleep. She lay in the massive bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying everything. Caleb's hands on her shoulders. The shove. The rain. Lucian's voice in the dark. You were offered as collateral. She'd been a thing, a bargaining chip. Her hands curled into fists beneath the sheets. At some point, she got up, pulled on a robe, walked the halls. The estate was quieter at night, but never silent. There were always footsteps somewhere, voices in distant rooms, the hum of a world that didn't sleep. She found herself in front of a closed door, heavy, wooden, different from the others. She pushed it open. Inside was an office. Dark wood, leather furniture, walls lined with maps and documents. A desk in the center, clean except for a single glass of amber liquid. Lucien sat behind it. He didn't look up when she entered, just kept reading whatever file was spread in front of him. "Can't sleep?" he asked. "Can you?" "No." Aria stepped inside, closing the door behind her. "Is that him?" She nodded at the file. Lucian's eyes flicked up, then back down. "Yes." "Caleb?" "Yes." "What does it say?" Lucian leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. "That he's more desperate than I thought, and more stupid." "Where is he?" "Hiding. Badly." Aria moved closer to the desk. Her hands gripped the back of a chair. "I want to see him." Lucian went very still. "Why?" "Because I need to know." "Know what?" "If he meant to kill me, or if he's just that much of a coward." Lucian watched her for a long moment. Then he closed the file, slid it to the side, and stood. "If I arrange that," he said quietly, "there's no going back. You understand that?" "I understand." "Do you?" Aria met his gaze, held it. "Yes." Lucian studied her like he was reading a language only he knew. Then he nodded once. 2 days. I'll bring him here." "Why not now?" "Because right now, you're angry. Anger makes you reckless. I need you sharp." "I'm sharp." "No, you're broken. There's a difference." The words should have hurt. They didn't. Because he was right. Aria turned to leave, stopped at the door. "Lucien." "Yes." "When I see him, what happens after?" Lucien's expression didn't change, but his voice dropped half an octave. "That depends entirely on you, Marcin." 2 days later, Aria stood in a warehouse on the industrial edge of the city. It was cold, concrete floors, metal beams overhead, the kind of place where sound echoed and blood dried to rust. Lucian's men flanked the space, 6 of them, silent and armed. Not because they expected trouble, because trouble was always possible. Lucian stood beside her, perfectly still, waiting. Then the door opened, and Caleb Vance was dragged inside. He looked smaller than she remembered, thinner. His suit was wrinkled, his face bruised. Someone had worked him over already, not enough to break him, just enough to make him compliant. When he saw her, he froze. "Aria, don't." Her voice cut through the space like glass. Caleb's mouth closed. His eyes darted to Lucien, then back to her. Fear, pure and sharp. "You're alive," he said stupidly. "Disappointed?" "No, He swallowed. "I didn't think—" "You didn't think I'd survive?" Aria stepped closer. Her body didn't hurt anymore. Or maybe it did, and she just didn't care. "You didn't think anyone would find me. You didn't think I mattered enough to be worth saving. It wasn't like that." "Then what was it like?" Caleb's mouth worked. No sound came out. Aria stopped 3 feet away from him, close enough to see the sweat on his forehead, close enough to smell the fear. "You used me," she said softly. "You sold me. To him." She jerked her head toward Lucian. "To people who would have done worse than kill me. And when that didn't work, you just threw me away."
I didn't have a choice. Bullshit. They were going to kill me. I owed them. So you gave them me instead. Caleb flinched. Aria's hands trembled. Not from fear, from rage so deep it felt like gravity. Did you ever love me? She asked. The question hung in the air.
Caleb stared at her, and for the first time he didn't lie. I don't know. Aria nodded slowly. Okay. She turned to Lucien. I'm done. Lucien's gaze didn't leave Caleb. What do you want me to do with him? Aria looked back at her husband, at the man who'd promised her forever and delivered her to hell. Let him go. Caleb's eyes widened. What? Let him go, Aria repeated. But make sure everyone knows what he did. Make sure every person he ever worked with, every contact, every deal, make sure they know he's a coward who sells people to save himself. Lucien's mouth curved, just slightly. Done. Caleb started to speak, maybe to beg, maybe to threaten. It didn't matter, Lucien gestured. Two of his men grabbed Caleb and hauled him toward the door. Wait, Aria, please. The door slammed shut. Silence. Aria stood there, breathing hard, fists clenched. You should have killed him, Lucien said quietly. No, that would have been mercy. Lucien looked at her, really looked, and for the first time something like approval flickered across his face. You're learning. Aria didn't respond, because she didn't know if that was a good thing. That night, everything went to hell. Aria was back at the estate, alone in her room, when the first explosion hit. The windows shattered inward, glass everywhere. The floor bucked beneath her feet. She hit the ground, arms over her head, ears ringing. Gunfire. Close. Too close. The door burst open. One of Lucien's men, Marcus, she thought his name was. Move! Now! Aria scrambled to her feet, barefoot, bleeding from a dozen tiny cuts. Marcus grabbed her arm and hauled her into the hallway. Chaos. Men running, shouting, weapons drawn. What's happening? Aria gasped. Retaliation. They're here for you. Who? The people your husband promised you to. They're done waiting. Another explosion. Closer. The lights flickered. Marcus shoved her toward a staircase. Go. Basement. Don't stop. Where's Lucien? Handling it. Go. Aria ran. The estate had become a war zone. She could hear gunfire above, below, echoing through the halls like thunder. Smoke filled the air, thick and choking. She reached the basement. A door, steel, heavy. She wrenched it open and stumbled inside. Dark, cold, silent. She pressed her back against the wall, trying to breathe, trying to think. Footsteps on the stairs behind her. Aria's heart stopped. The door opened. Lucien stepped through, blood on his shirt, gun in his hand, eyes colder than she'd ever seen them. You okay? He asked. Yes. Are you? Doesn't matter. He moved past her, checking corners, securing the space. They breached the perimeter, more than I expected. They're serious. What do they want? Lucien looked at her. You. Aria's stomach dropped. Why? Because killing you sends a message that I'm not untouchable, that the people I protect aren't safe. It's strategy. So give me to them. No. Lucien? No. His voice was iron, absolute. Another explosion. The walls shook. Lucien grabbed her arm. We're moving. Stay close. Don't stop. Don't hesitate. Where are we going? Somewhere they can't follow. He pulled her toward a hidden door in the back of the basement. Emergency exit. The kind of thing built into places where violence was always a possibility. They moved fast, through tunnels, upstairs, into the night. The estate burned behind them. Aria looked back once. Fire, smoke, shadows moving through the flames. Don't look, Lucien said. But she did anyway, because she needed to see what happened when people came for her. They ended up at a safe house. Small, isolated, the kind of place that didn't exist on any map. Lucien's men secured the perimeter. Inside, Aria sat on a worn couch, shaking, adrenaline still screaming through her veins. Lucien paced, phone to his ear, clipped sentences, orders, threats. When he finally hung up, the silence was deafening. How bad? Aria asked. 7 dead, 3 injured, The east wing is gone. I'm sorry. Lucienne looked at her sharply. Don't. It's my fault.
It's their fault. You didn't choose this. But nothing. He crouched in front of her, eye level. You are not responsible for the actions of violent men. You didn't ask to be used. You didn't ask to be here. This is on them, not you. Aria's throat tightened. They're going to keep coming, she whispered. Yes. Then what do we do? Lucien's jaw clenched. We end it. How? By making them regret ever hearing your name.
Morning came gray and cold. Aria stood by the window watching the sunrise, or trying to. The sky was too overcast, the light too weak. Lucien appeared beside her. He'd changed clothes, the blood was gone, but the hardness in his eyes remained. I'm going after them, he said. When? Tonight. I'm coming with you. No. It's not a question. Lucien turned to face her fully. You don't know what you're asking. I know exactly what I'm asking.
You'll see things, do things. There's no walking that back. Aria met his gaze. Good. Lucien studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Fine. But you follow my lead. You do exactly what I say. No hesitation. Understood. And if I tell you to run, I won't. Lucien's expression darkened. Aria, I won't. She stepped closer. They tried to kill me. They used me. They burned your home. I'm not running anymore. Silence. Then Lucien's hand came up, fingers brushing her jaw. Gentle, almost reverent. You're going to get yourself killed, he said softly. Then you better keep me alive. His thumb traced her cheekbone. His eyes searched hers. And then he kissed her, hard, claiming, a promise and a warning all at once. When he pulled back, Aria's breath was gone. Tonight, Lucien said, we end this. Aria nodded, because there was nothing left to say.
End of part 1. The war hasn't even started, and Aria Vance just chose a side. The safe house smelled like gunpowder and stale coffee. Aria sat at a metal table in what passed for a kitchen, watching Lucien's men move through the space like pieces on a chessboard. They didn't speak much, just checked weapons, loaded magazines, exchanged looks that carried entire conversations. She'd never seen this side of violence before. Not the explosion, not the blood, the preparation, the cold, methodical assembly of death. Marcus stood near the window, scanning the perimeter through binoculars. Another man, younger, with a scar bisecting his left eyebrow, was field stripping a pistol at the counter. A third leaned against the wall, eyes closed, breathing slow and even. Resting before war. Lucien was in the next room. She could hear his voice, low and steady, issuing orders through a phone. No anger, no urgency, just absolute control. The door opened behind her. A woman entered, tall, dark-skinned, dressed in black tactical gear that fit like a second skin. She moved with the kind of economy that came from years of training, no wasted motion, no unnecessary sound. She stopped when she saw Aria. So you're the liability. Aria looked up. Excuse me? The reason we lost 7 men last night, the reason the estate is ash, the reason we're hiding in this shithole instead of operating from a position of strength. The woman's voice was flat, clinical. You. Aria's hands clenched on the table. I didn't ask for any of this. Doesn't matter. You're here. People died because of it. That's not fair, Fair? The woman laughed, sharp, bitter. You think any of this is fair? You think those men chose to die protecting someone they didn't even know? Aria stood. Her ribs protested, but she ignored them. Who the hell are you? Reyna, head of security, or I was before you showed up and turned everything into a clusterfuck. I didn't... Save it! Reyna moved to the counter, pulled a knife from her belt, and began sharpening it against a whetstone. The sound was rhythmic, threatening. I don't care about your sob story. I care about keeping Lucien alive. And right now, you're making that harder. Aria's pulse hammered. Then why doesn't he just let me go?
Raina's eyes flicked up. You really don't get it, do you? Get what? He can't. Not anymore. The moment he pulled you out of that alley, he made a statement. The moment he refused to hand you over, he drew a line. You're not just some woman now. You're a symbol, proof that Lucien Varick doesn't bend, doesn't negotiate. She tested the knife's edge against her thumb. A thin line of red appeared. And symbols get people killed. The door to the next room opened. Lucien stepped through. His eyes went to Raina first, then to Aria. He read the tension instantly. Problem?
No, Raina said. She sheathed the knife. Just making introductions. Lucien's gaze lingered on her for a beat too long. Then he looked at Aria. You good? Aria nodded. She didn't trust her voice. Good. We move in 2 hours. Gear up. Raina pushed off the counter. Target? The docks. Warehouse district. They're regrouping there. Intel? Solid. 3 sources confirmed. Numbers? 20, maybe 25. Raina's jaw tightened. We've got 12. I know. That's suicide. No, that's strategy. They're expecting a siege. We're bringing a scalpel. Raina looked like she wanted to argue. Instead, she just nodded and left. Aria waited until the door closed. She hates me. She hates risk, your risk. Is she right? Lucien crossed the room, stood close enough that Aria had to tilt her head back to meet his eyes. About what? Am I worth it? The men you lost. The estate. Everything. Lucien's hand came up, fingers curling around her chin. Not rough. Not gentle. Just claiming. You're not the problem, he said quietly. They are. And tonight, we solve it. What if? No what ifs. You made your choice. Now you live with it. I just don't want more people to die because of me. People die because of choices. Yours. Mine. Theirs. But you don't get to carry that weight alone. Understand? Aria's throat tightened. I'm scared. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. His thumb brushed her jaw. But don't let it stop you. He released her and turned toward the door. Lucien. He paused. What happens if we don't make it back? He looked over his shoulder. His eyes were cold. Final. Then we don't. The door closed behind him. Aria stood there, alone in the kitchen, listening to the sound of men preparing for war. 2 hours later, Aria sat in the back of a black SUV, wearing body armor that felt 3 sizes too heavy and a gun she barely knew how to use strapped to her thigh. Lucien sat beside her, silent, focused, the kind of stillness that came before violence. Raina was driving. Marcus rode shotgun. 3 more vehicles followed behind, filled with the rest of Lucien's team. 12 people, against 25. The math didn't work, but no one seemed concerned. Aria's hands wouldn't stop shaking. She pressed them flat against her knees, willing them to be still. It didn't help. Lucien noticed. He didn't say anything, just reached over and placed his hand over hers. The shaking stopped, not because she wasn't scared, but because his touch was an anchor, solid, unmovable. Stay behind me, he said. Don't fire unless I tell you to. Don't run unless I tell you to. Don't do anything unless I tell you to. What if something happens to you? Then Raina takes point. You follow her. And if something happens to her? Lucien's jaw tightened. Then you run. Fast. Don't look back. I already told you. I know what you told me, and I'm telling you, if it goes wrong, you run. That's not negotiable. Aria wanted to argue, but the look in his eyes killed the words before they could form. The SUV slowed. Raina's voice, low and clipped. 2 minutes. Lucien released Aria's hand, checked his weapon, chambered around. Aria's heart was a war drum. The vehicle stopped. Remember, Lucien said, eyes locked on hers. Behind me, always. Then he was out. Aria followed. The docks at night were a graveyard of rust and shadow, shipping containers stacked like tombstones, cranes overhead, skeletal against the sky. The air smelled like salt and oil and something rotten. Lucien's team moved in formation, silent, precise, covering angles with the kind of discipline that came from years of this. They weren't soldiers. They were something worse. Hunters. Aria stayed close to Lucien, her breath coming fast and shallow. Every sound felt amplified. The crunch of gravel underfoot, the distant groan of metal, the whisper of wind through chain link. Reyna appeared beside Lucian, hand signals only. He nodded. She vanished into the dark. They approached a warehouse. Large, industrial, windows shattered or boarded up. Light leaked from cracks in the structure, voices inside, muffled, arguing. Lucian held up a fist. Everyone stopped. He looked at Aria, put a finger to his lips. She nodded. He moved forward. She followed. They reached the side entrance. Lucian tested the door. Unlocked, sloppy. He pushed it open an inch, peered inside. Then he looked back at his team. 3 fingers? 2. 1. They moved. The world exploded into noise, gunfire, shouting, the sharp crack of bullets hitting metal. Aria pressed herself against the wall, heart slamming against her ribs. Lucien was ahead, weapon up, firing with mechanical precision. Each shot found a target. Each target dropped. Marcus was on his left, moving in sync. Reyna on his right. A trio of death. Someone screamed. Aria flinched. More gunfire, closer. A man appeared in his doorway, young, panicked, gun shaking in his hands. He saw Aria and swung the weapon toward her. Time slowed. Aria's hand went to the gun on her thigh. Muscle memory from a lesson she barely remembered. She drew, aimed. The man's finger tightened on the trigger. Aria fired. The recoil nearly knocked her off her feet. The sound deafened her. The man went down. Not dead. Shoulder shot. He collapsed, screaming, weapon clattering away. Aria stared at him, at the blood spreading across his shirt, at the terror in his eyes. She'd done that. Move! Lucien's hand on her arm, yanking her forward. No time to process. No time to feel. They pushed deeper into the warehouse. Bodies on the ground. Some moving, some not. Aria's stomach turned. Focus, Lucien snapped. Eyes forward. She obeyed. They reached the center of the warehouse, a cleared space, tables, maps, weapons, evidence of planning. And in the middle of it all, a man, tall, scarred, older. He stood with his hands raised, gun on the floor at his feet. Surrender, but his eyes weren't afraid. Varric, the man said. Calm, almost amused. Lucien didn't lower his weapon. Malik, you're too late. For what? Malik smiled. She's already gone. Aria's blood went cold. What are you talking about? Lucien's voice was ice. Your little prize, the wife. We don't need to take her anymore. Malik's eyes flicked to Aria. We just needed you distracted long enough. Enough for what? To take everything else. The sound came from outside. Distant. Unmistakable. Explosions. Multiple. Coordinated. Lucien's expression didn't change, but something shifted behind his eyes. Reyna, he said into his earpiece. Status. Static. Reyna, respond. Nothing. Malik laughed. Your other properties, your safe houses, your accounts. We hit them all, simultaneously. While you were here, playing hero. Lucien's jaw clenched. You've lost, Varric. Not the war, just this battle. But it's enough. Malik spread his hands. Kill me if you want. Won't change anything. Aria watched Lucien's face, watched the calculations happening behind his eyes. Then he lowered the gun. Tie him up, he said to Marcus. Marcus moved forward, zip ties in hand. Lucien turned to Aria. We're leaving, now. But now. They exited the warehouse into chaos. The sky in 3 different directions glowed orange, fire, distant but spreading. Lucien's phone was already out, calls being made, damage being assessed. Reyna appeared from the shadows, blood on her face but otherwise intact. East safe house is gone. North one too. Still waiting on confirmation from the others. Casualties? Unknown. Lucien's hand tightened on the phone. Get everyone to the fallback point. Triple guard. No exceptions. Already done. They reached the SUVs. Aria climbed in, body moving on autopilot. Her hands were still shaking, worse now. Lucien got in beside her, slammed the door. Drive, he told Reyna. The vehicle lurched forward. Silence. Aria stared at her hands. at the gun residue on her fingers, at the faint tremor she couldn't stop. "I killed someone," she whispered. Lucien didn't look at her. "No, you wounded him." "I pulled the trigger. To survive." "That's different." "Doesn't feel different." "It will. Eventually." His voice was flat, distant. Aria looked at him, really looked. "You lost, didn't you? We're alive, that's not losing." "But they took—" "I know what they took." His voice was sharp, final. "Don't." Aria fell silent. Outside, the city passed in a blur of lights and shadows. Somewhere, Lucian's empire was burning, and he was here, with her. "This is my fault," she said quietly. "No. You said I was a symbol. Reyna said—" "Reyna was wrong." Lucian finally looked at her. His eyes were hard, unyielding. "They would have come for me eventually. You're just the excuse they used, but that doesn't make you the cause." "Then what am I?" Lucien's hand found hers again, held tight. "Mine," he said. And despite everything, the blood, the fire, the death, Aria felt something settle in her chest. Not peace, but certainty. The fallback point was a compound on the outskirts of the city, smaller than the estate, older, but fortified. High walls. Guards at every entrance, cameras, sensors, the kind of place built to withstand siege. Lucian's remaining men gathered in what looked like a command center, screens on the walls showing feeds from across the city, phones ringing, voices overlapping. Aria stood in the corner, out of the way, watching. Reyna was coordinating responses. Marcus was on 3 phones at once. Others moved with purpose, bringing reports, updating maps, tracking movements. And in the center of it all, Lucien. He stood at a table covered in documents, hands braced on the surface, eyes scanning information with machine-like efficiency. He looked tired. Not physically. Lucien didn't do physical exhaustion, but there was something in his eyes, a weight that hadn't been there before. "How bad?" Reyna asked, approaching the table. "Bad. 4 properties destroyed, 3 compromised. Financial accounts frozen pending investigation. They had inside information. Someone talked." Reyna's expression darkened. "Who?" "I don't know yet, but I will." "And when you do?" Lucien's eyes didn't leave the papers. "You know what happens," Reyna nodded. "What about the girl?" Aria stiffened. Lucien's gaze flicked to her, then back to Reyna. "What about her? She's a target. Keeping her here puts everyone at risk." "Noted." "Lucien." "I said noted." His voice was quiet, deadly. Reyna held his gaze for a long moment. Then she stepped back. "Fine. Your call." She walked away. Aria moved to the table. "She's right." Lucien didn't look up. "No, she's not. I'm a liability. You said it yourself. I'm a symbol. They'll keep coming as long as I'm here." "Then they keep coming. People will die. People are already dying. That's the world we live in." Aria's hands clenched. "I don't want to be the reason—" "You're not." Lucien finally looked at her. His eyes were bloodshot, exhausted, but still sharp. "You're the excuse. There's a difference." "I don't see it." "Then you're not looking hard enough." Before Aria could respond, one of Lucian's men approached, young, nervous. "Sir, we have a problem." Lucian straightened. "What kind?" "Communication from Malik's people. They want to negotiate." "Negotiate what?" The young man swallowed. "They're offering a truce. Full withdrawal, no more attacks." "In exchange for?" The man's eyes flicked to Aria. "Her." The room went silent. Every eye turned to Aria. She felt the weight of their stares, some accusing, some calculating, all measuring her worth against the cost of continued war. Lucien's expression didn't change. "Tell them no." "Sir, did I stutter?" "No, but the men, they're asking, let them ask. The answer is no." Reyna stepped forward. "Lucien, think about this." "I have. We've lost 4 properties, 12 men, millions in assets, and they're offering to walk away. All we have to do—" "I know what they're offering." "Then why—"
Because the moment I give them what they want, I've shown weakness, and weakness is a death sentence in this world. Keeping her is a death sentence. Lucian's hand moved so fast, Aria barely saw it. One moment, Reyna was standing. The next, Lucian had her by the throat, slammed against the wall. No one moved. Say that again, Lucian said softly. Reyna didn't flinch, didn't struggle, just met his eyes. You're letting her cloud your judgment. My judgment is the only reason you're still breathing. Then prove it. Make the smart call. Lucian held her there for another beat. Then he released her. Reyna stumbled back, gasping. Get out, Lucian said. Lucien, out! Reyna looked at Aria. Something passed between them, not understanding, but recognition. Two women caught in a man's war. Then Reyna left. The room slowly emptied. People found excuses to be elsewhere. Soon, it was just Aria and Lucien. You should have said yes, Aria said quietly. Lucien didn't answer. I'm not worth this. That's not your decision. It should be. But it's not. Aria moved closer. Why? Why won't you just let me go? Lucien turned to face her. For the first time, she saw something in his expression that looked almost human, almost vulnerable. Because I've spent my entire life being told what I can and can't have, who I can and can't protect, what I'm allowed to care about. His voice was low, raw. And I'm done. I'm done letting other people draw lines for me. I'm done negotiating. I'm done compromising. So I'm what? Proof of concept? He stopped. Started again. You're the first thing I've chosen that wasn't strategic, that wasn't calculated, that wasn't about power or territory or fear. Aria's breath caught. I pulled you out of that alley because I wanted to. Not because it served a purpose. Not because it gave me leverage. Because I looked at you, broken and bleeding and discarded, and I decided you were worth saving. He stepped closer. And I'll be damned if I let anyone tell me I was wrong. Silence. Then Aria closed the distance between them and kissed him. Not gentle, not tentative, hard, desperate, like she was trying to prove something to both of them. Lucian's hands came up, tangling in her hair, pulling her closer. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Aria rested her forehead against his. They're going to kill you, she whispered. Probably. I can't let that happen. Then don't. What does that mean? Lucien pulled back just enough to meet her eyes. It means you stop seeing yourself as a victim, stop seeing yourself as a liability, and start seeing yourself as what you actually are. What's that? Dangerous. 3 days passed. The truce offer was officially declined. Malik's people responded with silence, not acceptance, not escalation, just nothing. Which was somehow worse. Lucien's team worked around the clock, rebuilding networks, securing assets, hunting for the leak. Aria trained. Reyna, despite her obvious resentment, ran her through drills. Hand-to-hand, weapons. Situational awareness. Not because she wanted to, because Lucien ordered it. You're slow, Reyna said, watching Aria fumble a magazine change. I've been doing this for 3 days. And you'll be dead in 4 if you don't get faster. Aria gritted her teeth and tried again. Faster this time. Still not fast enough. Reyna sighed. You're thinking too much. Your body knows what to do. Let it. Easy for you to say. No, it's not. Reyna moved closer, adjusting Aria's grip. You think I was born knowing this? I learned. Same as you. Difference is, I didn't have a choice. Aria looked at her. What happened to you? Reyna's jaw tightened. Nothing that matters now. Bullshit. Excuse me? You hate me because you see yourself in me. Someone who got pulled into this world. Someone who didn't ask for it, but you survived. And you can't forgive me for having a choice when you didn't. Reyna's eyes flashed. You don't know anything about me. Then tell me I'm wrong. Silence. Then Reyna stepped back. Again, from the top. They trained for another hour. By the end, Aria's hands were raw and her body screamed in protest. But she was faster, sharper. As she left the range, Reyna called after her. You love him? Aria stopped, turned. I don't know yet. Figure it out, because if you don't, you'll hesitate.
and hesitation gets people killed. That night, Aria found Lucien in his office. He was alone, staring at a map of the city, red pins marking locations like wounds. "Can't sleep?" she asked. "Never could." She moved to stand beside him. "What are you looking at?" "Patterns. They hit us here, here, and here," he pointed. "All strategic, all designed to cripple infrastructure, but there's something missing." "What?" "The endgame. They've weakened me, but they haven't finished it. Why?" "Maybe they're waiting." "For what?" "For you to make a mistake." Lucien looked at her. "Smart. I have a good teacher." His mouth curved, almost a smile. "You're learning. Reina thinks I'm a lost cause. Reina thinks everyone's a lost cause." "Is she wrong?" "About you?" "Yes." Aria leaned against the desk. "What if they come for me again? What if next time?" "They won't get that chance." "You can't know that." "Yes, I can." Lucien turned to face her fully. "Because I'm not waiting anymore. We've been reactive, defensive. That ends now." "What are you going to do?" "Find the leak, cut it off, and then burn them to the ground." The words were calm, matter-of-fact, terrifying. "When?" "Soon." Before Aria could respond, the door burst open. Marcus, face pale, eyes wide. "We found him." Lucien went still. "Who?" "The leak. We know who talked." "Where?" "Basement. Reina's with him now." Lucien was moving before Marcus finished speaking. Aria followed. They descended stairs into a part of the compound she hadn't seen before. Cold, concrete, the kind of place where sound didn't escape. Reina stood outside a steel door. Her knuckles were bloody. "He's inside," she said flatly. Lucien pushed the door open. The room was small, a single chair in the center, a man tied to it. Young, maybe 25, one of Lucien's own. His face was a mess. Broken nose, split lip, eye swollen shut. He looked up when Lucien entered. Fear, pure and absolute. "Please, I didn't. They made me." Lucien pulled a gun from his waistband, checked the chamber. "No, please. I'm sorry." Lucien raised the weapon. "Lucien," Aria started. He fired. The sound was deafening in the small space. The young man slumped forward, dead. Lucien lowered the gun, turned to Marcus. "Get rid of him." Marcus nodded and moved to comply. Lucien walked past Aria without looking at her. She stood there, staring at the body, at the blood pooling on the concrete. Reina appeared beside her. "First execution?" Aria couldn't speak. "Gets easier," Reina said. Then she left too. Aria stood alone in the room with a corpse, and she realized, with cold, absolute clarity, that there was no going back. She'd crossed a line she didn't even know existed, and on the other side there was only Lucien. 2 hours later, Aria sat in the bedroom Lucien had given her, staring at the wall, seeing nothing. The door opened. Lucien entered. He'd washed the gunpowder residue from his hands, changed his shirt, but the weight in his eyes remained. "You're angry," he said. "No." "You should be." "I'm not angry, I'm—" She stopped. "I don't know what I am." Lucien sat on the edge of the bed, not close, just present. "He sold us out," he said quietly, gave them locations, schedules, weaknesses. 12 men died because of him. "I know." "So you understand why I understand. That doesn't make it easier." "It's not supposed to be easy." Aria finally looked at him. "Do you feel anything when you do that?" Lucien was quiet for a long moment. "Yes," he said finally. "I feel the weight of every person depending on me to keep them safe. I feel the responsibility of showing strength when showing mercy would get us all killed, and I feel," he paused, "relief. That it's done. That the threat is neutralized. That I can protect what's mine." "Is that what I am? Something to protect?" "No, you're someone I choose to protect. There's a difference." Aria's hands trembled in her lap. "I don't know if I can do this." "Do what?" "Live in a world where people die because they made a mistake. Where execution is just business." Then leave. The words hung between them. What? You want out? Leave. I won't stop you. I'll make sure you're safe. Give you money, a new identity. You can disappear. Start over. Aria stared at him. You mean that? Yes. Then why did you fight so hard to keep me? Lucien's eyes met hers. Because I wanted to. But I won't keep you prisoner. That was never the point. Then what was? Giving you a choice. A real one. Not the choice between dying in an alley or being sold to criminals. A choice between safety and purpose. Between running and fighting. Between being a victim and being something else entirely. Aria's throat tightened. And if I choose to leave? Then you leave, and I remember you as the one who got away. You wouldn't come after me? No. Why not? Because forcing you to stay would make me no different than your husband, and I refuse to be that. Silence. Aria stood, walked to the window, stared out at the compound grounds, guards patrolling, lights cutting through darkness. I shot someone, she said softly. I know. I didn't hesitate. I know. What does that make me? Alive. Aria closed her eyes. I should leave. I should take your offer and run as far as I can. But I can't. She turned to face him. I can't run. Because every time I close my eyes, I see Caleb's face. I see him throwing me away like I was nothing. And I see Malik's people trying to use me like I'm still nothing. And Her voice broke. I can't be nothing anymore. I won't. Lucien stood, crossed the room, stopped in front of her. Then don't be. Teach me. Everything. How to fight, how to survive, how to be. She met his eyes. How to be dangerous. Lucien's hand came up, cupping her face. You already are. He kissed her. Slow this time. Deep. Like he was memorizing her. When they broke apart, Aria rested her head against his chest. What happens now? She whispered. Now? Lucien's arms came around her. Now we finish this. The next morning, everything changed. Aria was in the training room when Reina burst in. We have a problem. Aria lowered the weapon she'd been practicing with. What kind? The kind where we're all fucked. They moved to the command center. Lucien was already there, surrounded by his team, staring at a screen. On it, security footage. Grainy but clear enough. Caleb, alive, bloody, being dragged into a warehouse by men Aria didn't recognize. Her blood went cold. When was this? Lucien asked. 2 hours ago, Eastern District. Malik? Yes. Aria moved closer. I thought you let him go. You said, I let him go, Lucien said flatly. Malik found him. Why would they take him? Because he's leverage. Reina pulled up another screen. They sent a message 10 minutes ago. Text appeared. Trade? Midnight. Pier 19. The woman for the husband. Come alone or he dies. Aria stared at the words. It's a trap, Marcus said. Obviously, Reina replied. Lucien said nothing, just stood there, expression unreadable. You're not seriously considering this, Reina said. Silence. Lucien, you can't leave us. His voice was quiet, absolute. The room emptied. Aria and Lucien stood alone. You're going, she said. Yes. It's suicide. Probably. Then why? Because if I don't, they'll kill him, publicly, brutally, and then they'll come for you anyway. At least this way I control the terms. You don't actually care if Caleb dies. No, but I care about what it represents. Which is? That I keep my promises. I said I'd destroy him my way, not theirs. Aria's hands clenched. This is insane. Yes. I won't let you do this alone. You don't have a choice. The hell I don't. Lucien turned to face her. Aria, no. You don't get to protect me anymore. You don't get to make decisions for me. You said I had a choice. This is it. I'm choosing. Choosing what? To go with you. Absolutely not. It's me they want. Me they're using as bait. I should be there. So they can take you, kill you, use you against me? So I can end this. Aria stepped closer. You said I was dangerous. Prove you meant it. Let me come. Lucien stared at her, conflict written across his face. Then, slowly, he nodded. Fine, but you follow my orders, no exceptions. Agreed. And if I tell you to run, I won't. Aria, I won't. She held his gaze. We do this together, or not at all. Lucien's jaw clenched. Then he pulled her close, kissed her hard. When he pulled back, his eyes were steel. Then we do it together. Midnight came too fast. Pier 19 was abandoned, cranes rusted, docks rotted, water black and still. The kind of place where bodies disappeared and no one asked questions. Lucien's SUV pulled up to the designated spot, headlights cutting through darkness. Aria sat beside him, heart hammering, hand on the gun Reyna had given her. Remember, Lucien said, stay close, stay sharp, and if it goes wrong, it won't. But if it does, then we fight our way out. Lucien almost smiled. You really have learned. They exited the vehicle. Across the pier, figures emerged from shadows. 10, maybe 12, all armed. And in the center, Caleb. He was bound, beaten, barely conscious. Malik stepped forward, smiling. Varek, you actually came. I gave my word and brought the girl. How romantic. Lucien's hand tightened on his weapon. Let him go. After you give her to us. That wasn't the deal. The deal was your choice. I'm just expediting. Lucien's team appeared from the shadows, Reyna, Marcus, others, weapons drawn, surrounding the pier. Malik laughed. You think this changes anything? We have snipers. One wrong move and everyone dies. Then I guess we're at an impasse. Not quite. Malik pulled a gun, pressed it to Caleb's head. Give me the girl, or I kill him. Then I kill you. Then I take her anyway. Aria stepped forward before Lucien could stop her. Let him go, she said, voice steady, clear. Malik's eyes locked on her. Finally, the woman who started all this. I didn't start anything. You did. When you decided I was worth trading. You're not, but he thinks you are. That's what matters. Then you've already lost. Malik's smile faltered. What? You think taking me gives you power over him. But it doesn't, because I'm not a hostage. I'm not leverage. I'm a choice. His choice. And he'll burn this entire city before he lets you take that from him. Malik's finger tightened on the trigger. Arias? Lucien warned. But she kept moving forward, closer to Caleb, closer to Malik. You want me? She said. Come get me. Malik's eyes narrowed. Then he shoved Caleb aside and lunged for Aria. Everything happened at once. Gunfire exploded from every direction. Muzzle flashes lit the darkness. Bodies hit the ground. Aria dropped, rolled, came up with her weapon. Fired. Once, twice, 3 times. Someone screamed. Lucien was there, shielding her, returning fire with brutal precision. Reyna appeared on their flank, cutting down anyone who got close. Chaos. Blood. Death. And through it all, Caleb crawling across the dock trying to escape. Aria saw him. Saw her husband, the man who'd sold her, discarded her, tried to erase her. She could have let him go, should have let him go. Instead, she walked toward him. Caleb looked up, eyes wide, terrified. Aria, please. She raised the gun. You made me a ghost, she said quietly. Now you get to be one too. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. She pulled the trigger. The shot echoed across the water. Caleb's body went still. Aria lowered the gun. Around her, the battle raged, but she felt nothing. No guilt, no grief. Just release. Lucien appeared beside her, blood on his face, eyes wild. We need to move. Now! An explosion. Close. Too close. The dock shattered. Wood splintering. Concrete crumbling. Aria felt herself falling. Water. Cold. Black. She went under. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't see. Hands grabbed her. Pulled her up. Lucien. Gasping. Bleeding. I've got you! Another explosion. Lucien's grip loosened. He went under. No! Aria dove, searched blindly in the dark water, found him, dragged him to the surface. They reached the shore, collapsed together, sirens in the distance. Reyna appeared. "We have to go. Police!" Lucian coughed, struggled to his feet.
Everyone? Status? Alive. Mostly. Malik? Dead. Lucian nodded, swayed. Aria caught him. "You're hurt." "I'm fine." He collapsed. Aria screamed. The world became a blur. Hospital. No, not hospital. Somewhere private. Underground. Doctors who didn't ask questions. Lucian on a table. Unconscious. Bleeding. Aria paced. Reyna stood guard. Marcus coordinated responses. Hours passed. Finally, a doctor emerged. "He'll live." But it was close. Aria's legs gave out. Reyna caught her. "He's stable?" Marcus asked. "For now, he lost a lot of blood. The bullet missed his heart by inches." "Can we see him?" "He's sedated, but yes." Aria entered the room first. Lucian lay there, pale, still, machines beeping rhythmically. She sat beside him, took his hand. "You're not allowed to die," she whispered. "You hear me? You don't get to save me and then leave. That's not how this works." His fingers twitched. She held tighter. "I'm here," she said. "I'm not going anywhere, so you better not either." The machines beeped, and Aria stayed. It's 3 days later, Lucian woke. His eyes opened slowly, focused on the ceiling, then on Aria, asleep in the chair beside him. He tried to sit up. Pain stopped him. Aria stirred, saw him awake. "Don't move." "What happened?" "You were shot. You almost died. Again." Lucian's jaw tightened. "Malik?" "Dead. I made sure." "The others?" "Alive, recovering." He nodded, then looked at her, really looked. "You killed him." Not a question. "Yes." "How do you feel?" Aria thought about it. "Free." Lucien's hand found hers, held tight. "Good." They sat in silence. Then Aria leaned down, kissed him. Gentle. Careful. "Don't ever do that again," she whispered. "Do what?" "Almost die on me." "I'll try." "Promise." Lucian pulled her closer, despite the pain. "I promise." And in that moment, surrounded by beeping machines and antiseptic smell, and the knowledge that war still waited outside, Aria Vance finally understood. She wasn't a victim. She wasn't a symbol. She was something far more dangerous. She was loved. And in Lucian Varek's world, that was the most powerful weapon of all. End of part 2. The king almost fell. The queen learned to kill. And the war is far from over. Lucien didn't stay in bed long. Against doctors' orders, against Aria's protests, against basic human sense, he was up within 48 hours, moving slow, breathing careful, but moving. "You're going to tear your stitches," Aria said, watching him dress in the private recovery room. "Then they'll restitch them." "That's not how healing works." "I don't have time to heal." He buttoned his shirt, wincing as the fabric pulled against bandages. "Malik's dead, but his organization isn't. They'll regroup, retaliate. I need to be visible, show strength." "You can barely stand." "I'm standing." "Barely." Lucian turned to face her. His color was better. Not good, but better. The pallor had faded to something almost human, but his eyes carried exhaustion he couldn't hide. "I know what I'm doing," he said. "Do you?" Aria crossed her arms. "Because from where I'm standing, you're acting like a man with a death wish. I'm acting like a man who understands what happens when you show weakness in this world. You were shot. That's not weakness, that's biology. It's both." He moved toward her, each step measured. "The moment word gets out that I'm vulnerable, every rival, every ambitious lieutenant, every two-bit criminal with a grudge will see an opportunity. I can't give them that." Aria's jaw tightened. "So you'll kill yourself trying to prove you're invincible instead. If that's what it takes." "That's insane." "No, that's survival." Before Aria could respond, the door opened. Reyna entered without knocking. Her expression was grim. "We have a situation." Lucien straightened. "What kind?"
The kind where 3 of our distribution points got hit in the last 2 hours. Coordinated. Professional. Casualties? 5 dead, 8 wounded. They took everything. Product, cash, records. Lucian's hand clenched on the back of a chair. Malik's people? No, someone new, or someone old pretending to be new. Witnesses. 1. He's in the safe room, waiting. Lucian moved toward the door. Aria grabbed his arm. You need to rest. I need to handle this. He looked down at her hand, then at her face. Something softened in his expression. Come with me.
What? You wanted to be part of this? Here's your chance. Aria's pulse quickened. Lucien, you killed your husband 3 days ago. You dove into black water to save my life. You don't get to pretend you're not already in this. His eyes held hers. So come with me. See what happens next. Aria released his arm. Then she followed.
The safe room was in the basement. Concrete walls, single door, no windows. A man sat in a metal chair in the center, young, Hispanic, blood crusted under his nose, hands zip-tied behind his back. He looked up when they entered. Fear spiked across his face. I told them everything I know. I swear. Please. Lucian pulled up a chair, sat slowly, carefully, every movement deliberate. What's your name? Diego. Diego, you worked the East Distribution Point?
Yes. 3 years. I've always been loyal. I know. Marcus vouched for you. That's why you're alive. Lucien leaned forward. Tell me what happened. Diego swallowed. They came at shift change. 6 of them, maybe 7. All masked. Military gear. They knew exactly where everything was. Cameras, safe, escape routes, like they had blueprints. Did they say anything?
Just orders. Get down. Don't move. Don't look. Diego's voice shook. But I saw one of them. When they were leaving, his mask slipped. Lucien went very still. And I recognized him. The room temperature seemed to drop. From where? Lucien's voice was quiet, dangerous. From here. From your organization. He's one of yours. Aria felt the words land like a physical blow. Reina stepped forward. You're sure? I've seen him at meetings, pickup runs. His name is, I think, Santos. Victor Santos. Reina's expression didn't change, but Aria saw her hand move to her weapon. Lucien stood slowly. Where's Santos now? I don't know. He wasn't on the schedule today. Lucien looked at Reina. Find him, quietly. Reina nodded and left. Lucien turned back to Diego. You tell anyone else what you saw? No, I came straight here. Good. You're going to stay here, safe, quiet, until this is resolved. Understand? Diego nodded frantically. Someone will bring you food, water, but you don't leave this room. You don't talk to anyone. You don't exist until I say otherwise. Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Lucien walked out without another word. Aria followed him into the hallway. Another traitor, she said. Looks that way. How many people have turned on you? In the last month? 3 that we know of. Probably more we don't. That doesn't concern you? Lucien stopped, turned to face her. It terrifies me. The honesty was jarring. Then why? Because fear without action is paralysis. And I can't afford to be paralyzed right now. He started walking again. Someone is systematically dismantling my organization from the inside. The question is who and why now? Malik's people? Malik's people are scattered, leaderless. This is too coordinated for them. Then who? That's what I need to figure out. They reached his office. Lucien moved to the desk, pulled out a bottle of whiskey, poured 2 glasses, handed one to Aria. You don't have to drink it, he said, but you should hold it. Gives your hands something to do besides shake. Aria looked down. Her hands were trembling. She took the glass. Lucien drank his in one swallow, poured another. How many people know everything about your operations? Aria asked. 4. Reina, Marcus, my financial officer, and me. That's it? Compartmentalization. Need-to-know basis. The less people know, the less they can betray. But someone knows enough to cause real damage. Yes. Aria sipped the whiskey. It burned. What if it's not one person? Lucian looked at her sharply. What?
What if it's all of them? What if this whole thing, the attacks, the leaks, the betrayals, what if it's coordinated? A coup? Lucian's jaw clenched. That would require them working together. People work together when they have a common enemy. I'm not their enemy. Maybe they think you are. Silence. Lucien set down his glass, stared at the wall where maps and documents were pinned. Territory, assets, people. If you're right, he said slowly, then I've already lost. No. Yes. If my inner circle has turned, then everything is compromised. Every safe house, every account, every ally. It's over. Aria moved closer. Then we start over. With what? I've lost half my assets, my home, my reputation is damaged, and now, if you're right, I can't trust anyone. You can trust me. Lucian looked at her. Really looked. Can I? The question hit like a slap. What? You showed up in my world 3 weeks ago, broken, desperate. Perfect bait, perfect distraction. His eyes were cold, analytical. What if that's exactly what you were meant to be? Aria's blood went cold. You think I'm working with them? I think I don't know. And not knowing is dangerous. I killed my husband for you. You killed a man who tried to kill you. That's self-preservation, not loyalty. I saved your life, or you made sure I survived long enough to be useful, long enough to lead you exactly where you needed to be. Lucian stepped closer. Tell me, Aria, how did Caleb know to offer you as leverage? How did he know I'd care? I don't know. I told you. You told me a lot of things, but I never verified any of them. I took your word, your tears, your fear, and maybe that was the mistake. Aria's hands clenched around the glass. You're wrong. Prove it. How? Tell me something only you would know, something that proves you're not playing me. Aria's mind raced. What do you want me to say? The truth. I've told you the truth. Then tell me again, every detail, from the beginning. Aria set down the glass before she threw it. Why are you doing this? Because someone close to me is betraying me, and you're the newest variable, the unknown factor. And in my world, unknown factors get people killed. So I'm guilty until proven innocent? In my world, yes. Aria's breath came fast and shallow, anger and hurt warring in her chest. Fine, she said. You want the truth? Here it is. I was married to a criminal I didn't know was a criminal. He used me, sold me, threw me away. You found me, saved me. And I've spent every day since then trying to figure out if that was mercy or manipulation, if you're my savior or just a different kind of monster. Lucian's expression didn't change. But here's what I know, Aria continued. I know I shot a man to protect myself. I know I killed my husband because he deserved it. I know I dove into freezing water to pull you out because the thought of you dying made me want to die too. So if that's not enough, if you still think I'm some kind of plant, then shoot me, right now, because I'm done defending myself to you. Silence stretched between them, thick, suffocating. Then Lucian's hand came up, fingers brushing her cheek. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Aria jerked back. Don't! I'm sorry. You're right. I'm paranoid and cruel. And I'm taking it out on you because you're here and everyone else is suspect. He exhaled slowly. But that's not fair, and it's not right. No, it's not. Forgive me. I don't know if I can. Then don't. Just stay, please. Aria stared at him, at the exhaustion in his eyes, at the vulnerability he was finally letting show. You're falling apart, she said softly. I know, and you're dragging me down with you. I know that too. Then let me help, really help, not just stand here while you self-destruct. Lucian's jaw worked. How? Let me talk to Reyna, woman to woman. See if she'll tell me something she wouldn't tell you. She hates you. She doesn't hate me. She hates what I represent. There's a difference. Before Lucien could respond, the door opened. Reina entered. Her face was ashen. We found Santos. Where? Dead. In his apartment, single gunshot, execution style. Lucien went very still. When? Coroner says 6 hours ago, before the raids. So he was already dead when they hit us. Yes. Which means Diego lied. Reina nodded. Or he was fed false information. Either way, we're chasing ghosts. Lucien's hand slammed down on the desk. The sound cracked through the room. Someone is playing us, feeding us bad intel, making us turn on our own people.
Then what do we do? Reina asked. Lucien was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at Aria.
We stop reacting and start hunting.
The next 48 hours were a masterclass in paranoia. Lucien tightened security, limited information, compartmentalized everything. No one knew more than their immediate assignment. Aria watched him work, saw the way he moved pieces around like a chess game only he could see, trusting no one, suspecting everyone. She tried to help, offered suggestions, asked questions, but Lucien kept her at arm's length, polite, careful, distant, like she was a bomb that might detonate.
On the third day, Reina approached her. They were in the compound's kitchen, Aria making coffee, Reina cleaning a weapon at the table. He doesn't trust you, Reina said without preamble. Aria poured water into the machine. I know. He doesn't trust anyone right now. I know that too. Good, because if you're smart, you won't take it personally. Aria turned to face her. Is that what you do? Not take it personally when he treats you like a potential enemy?
Reina's hand stilled on the gun. I've been with Lucien for 8 years. I've bled for him, killed for him, lost people I loved because of him. And yes, he still doesn't fully trust me, because that's who he is. That's how he survives. That's not survival, that's isolation. In this world, they're the same thing. Aria sat down across from her. You really believe that? I have to. Otherwise, what's the point? The point is having something worth protecting, someone worth trusting. Reina looked at her, really looked. You love him. Not a question. Aria didn't answer. He'll destroy you, Reina said quietly. Not because he wants to, because he doesn't know how not to. Everyone who gets close to Lucien ends up damaged, dead, or wishing they were dead. Is that what happened to you? Reina's eyes hardened. I was damaged long before I met him. But he didn't fix you. No, he gave me purpose, direction, a reason to channel the damage into something useful. That's not the same as fixing. What if I could fix him? Reina laughed, sharp, bitter. You can't. You don't know that.
Yes, I do, because I tried. Years ago, before I understood what he was. She reassembled the gun with practiced efficiency. Lucien Varick doesn't want to be saved. He wants to be obeyed, feared, respected, but not saved. The moment you try, you become a threat, and he eliminates threats. He wouldn't. He would. Not with a bullet, but with distance, coldness. He'll push you away until you have no choice but to leave, or until you become like the rest of us, loyal, useful, and utterly expendable. Aria's throat tightened. Why are you telling me this? Because despite everything, despite the fact that you're a complication and a risk, I don't want to watch you break. You've been through enough. Reina stood. So here's my advice. Leave, now, while you still can, before he makes you into something you'll hate. She walked out. Aria sat alone in the kitchen, staring at her reflection in the coffee pot, and wondered if Reina was right. That night, Aria found Lucien on the roof of the compound. He stood at the edge, looking out over the city, lights sprawling to the horizon, beautiful and indifferent. Can't sleep? She asked. Never could. She moved to stand beside him. Reina thinks I should leave. She's probably right. Is that what you want? Lucien was quiet for a long time. What I want doesn't matter. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. Aria's hands gripped the railing. I'm tired, Lucien. Tired of being treated like a problem. Tired of defending myself. Tired of not knowing where I stand. You stand beside me. For now.
For now. That's the key phrase, isn't it? Everything with you is temporary, conditional. Everything in life is temporary. Stop deflecting. Lucian turned to face her. The city lights caught his features, harsh, angular, exhausted. You want certainty? I can't give you that. You want promises? I won't make them. You want love? He paused. I don't know if I'm capable of it anymore. Aria felt something crack inside her chest. Then what am I doing here? Surviving, same as me. That's not enough. It has to be. No, it doesn't. Aria stepped closer. I didn't claw my way out of that alley. I didn't kill my husband. I didn't save your life, just to survive. I did it because I thought... Her voice broke. I thought maybe there was something more, something worth fighting for. Lucian's jaw clenched. I can't be that for you. Why not? Because everyone I've ever cared about ends up dead, or worse, and I won't do that to you. That's not your decision to make. Yes, it is. He turned back to the city. You should go, tomorrow. I'll arrange everything. Money, new identity, protection. You'll be safe. I don't want safe. I want you. You want an idea of me, not the reality. Don't tell me what I want. Lucien's hands clenched on the railing. I'm trying to save you. I don't need saving. Everyone needs saving from me. The words echoed across the roof. Silence. Then Lucian's voice, quieter. I've spent my entire life building walls, keeping people out, keeping myself in control. And then you... He stopped, started again. You walked into my world and made me want things I gave up on years ago. Made me feel things I swore I wouldn't feel. And it's killing me. Because I know. The moment I let myself have you, I'll lose you. And I can't. His voice broke. Aria's breath caught. She'd never seen him like this. Vulnerable, raw, human. She closed the distance between them, put her hand on his face. Then let yourself lose me, she whispered. Just let yourself have this. Have me. For as long as it lasts. Lucian's eyes searched hers. You don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. He kissed her then, desperate, claiming, like she was oxygen and he was drowning. When they finally broke apart, Aria rested her forehead against his. I'm not leaving, she said. You should. But I won't. Lucien pulled her closer. Then I guess we're both fools. I can live with that. They stood there, holding each other, while the city burned below. The next morning, everything fell apart. Aria woke to shouting, running footsteps, the sharp crack of gunfire. She bolted upright, reaching for the weapon Reyna had given her. The door burst open. Marcus. Blood on his shirt, eyes wild. We need to move, now! What's happening? They're here, all of them, every rival, every enemy, coordinated assault. The whole compound is compromised. Aria's heart stopped. Where's Lucien? Command center, he won't leave. You need to go. I'm not going without him. Aria. She pushed past Marcus, running toward the command center. Gunfire echoed through the halls. Smoke filled the air. She reached the command center. The door was barricaded from inside. Lucien! She pounded on it. Lucien, open the door! It opened. Lucien stood there, weapon in hand, blood on his face. Behind him, Reyna, 2 other men, all armed, all surrounded. What are you doing here? Lucien's voice was sharp. I'm not leaving you. You have to... An explosion, close. The building shook. Lucien grabbed her arm. There's an exit, basement level. Marcus will take you... No. Aria... I said no. Another explosion, closer. The wall behind them buckled, cracked, and through the smoke, figures, armed, moving fast. Lucien shoved Aria behind him, raised his weapon. The figures opened fire. Everything went to hell. Lucien returned fire, Reyna beside him, the 2 other men covering flanks. Aria pressed herself against the wall, heart hammering, unable to breathe. Someone screamed. One of Lucien's men went down, then the other. Just Lucien and Reyna now, against impossible odds. Fall back, Lucien ordered. They moved toward the exit. Aria followed. More gunfire. From behind. From the sides. Surrounded. They reached a hallway. Dead end. Lucien turned, eyes scanning, calculating. There, he said, pointing to a maintenance shaft. Reyna pried it open. It's narrow. It's our only option. Go. Reyna went first, then Aria. The shaft was tight, dark. Aria's breath came in gasps as she crawled forward. Behind her, Lucien, and behind him, footsteps, shouting. They were coming. Faster, Lucien urged. Aria crawled harder, faster. Her hands scraped against metal. Light ahead, an opening. Reyna dropped out first, then Aria. They were in a sub-level, storage area, concrete and shadows. Lucien dropped down beside them. Which way? Reyna asked. Lucien pointed. East exit, 200 yards. A sound behind them, metal scraping. Someone else in the shaft. Run, Lucien said. They ran, through the storage area, past crates and equipment, toward a door marked exit, gunfire behind them, bullets ricocheting off concrete. They reached the door. Reyna kicked it open. Outside. Alley. Night air. A vehicle screeched around the corner. Black SUV. Marcus at the wheel. Get in. They piled in. The vehicle lurched forward before the doors were even closed. More gunfire. The back window shattered. Marcus drove like a man possessed, through alleys, across intersections, barely slowing. Where are we going? Aria gasped. Away, Marcus said. Anywhere that's not here. Lucien's phone buzzed. He answered. What? Pause. His face went white. When? Pause. All of them? Pause. Understood. He hung up. What? Reyna demanded. Lucien's voice was hollow. It's over. Every account, every asset, every safe house. They hit everything, simultaneously, coordinated down to the second. How is that possible? Aria asked. Because someone gave them everything. Lucien looked at Reyna. Someone with access to it all. Reyna's eyes widened. No, your codes, your access, everything that was stolen, it was through your credentials. I would never. I know. Which means someone cloned them, used you, made it look like you were the leak. Aria's stomach dropped. Wait, if they can do that. Lucien's eyes met hers, and she saw the realization hit him the same moment it hit her. It's not Reyna, Aria whispered. It's. The SUV swerved. Marcus's voice, cold and unfamiliar. It's me! He slammed on the brakes. The vehicle spun, crashed into a wall, metal shrieking, glass shattering. Aria's head cracked against something hard. Vision blurred. When it cleared, she was on the ground. Outside the vehicle, Lucien beside her, bleeding, conscious but barely. Reyna, motionless in the back seat, and Marcus standing over them, gun drawn. I'm sorry, he said, but they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Lucien tried to move. Couldn't. Marcus aimed the gun at his head. You were a good boss, but a bad bet, and I always play the odds. His finger tightened on the trigger. Aria moved without thinking, lunged, grabbed a piece of broken glass from the wreckage, drove it into Marcus's leg. He screamed. The gun went off. Wide, missing. Aria scrambled back, grabbed Lucien. Run! But he couldn't. His leg was twisted, broken. Marcus recovered, raised the gun again. Stop! The voice came from behind them. Aria turned. A woman stepped out of the shadows. 50s. Elegant. Expensive suit. That's enough, Marcus. I'll take it from here. Marcus lowered the gun, stepped back. The woman approached, looked down at Lucien. Hello, nephew. Aria's blood turned to ice. Lucien stared up at the woman. Shock, betrayal, horror. Aunt Elena, he whispered. The woman smiled. Surprised? You shouldn't be. You took something that belonged to me. And now, she gestured to the destruction around them. I'm taking it back, with interest. This was you, Lucien said, voice hollow. All of it. The leaks. The attacks. Marcus. Marcus works for me, always has. Such a loyal boy. Unlike you. Elena crouched down. I gave you everything, Lucien. Took you in when your parents died, taught you the business, built you into what you are. And how did you repay me? By trying to push me out, take over. You were killing the organization. I was protecting it. But you, young, ambitious, arrogant, you thought you knew better. So I let you think you'd won, let you build your little empire, and then she stood. I destroyed it, piece by piece, until there was nothing left. Aria's hands shook. Why? Elena looked at her, eyes cold. Because family isn't about blood. It's about power. And he chose to challenge mine. She turned to Marcus. Finish it, both of them. Make it clean. Marcus raised the gun. Aria closed her eyes. The shot echoed through the alley, but the pain didn't come. Aria opened her eyes. Marcus was on the ground, head bleeding, dead. Behind him, Reyna, swaying, gun in hand. I really hate traitors, Reyna gasped. Then she collapsed. Elena's eyes widened. She reached for a weapon. Lucien moved, faster than should be possible with a broken leg. Grabbed the gun Marcus had dropped. Fired. Elena went down. Not dead. Shoulder shot. She screamed, clutched the wound. Lucien dragged himself closer, pressed the gun to her head. Give me one reason, he said, voice shaking. One reason I shouldn't end you right now. Elena laughed, bitter, broken. Because you're not like me. You're weak, sentimental. That's why you'll lose. I've already lost. Then pull the trigger. Prove me wrong. Lucien's hand trembled. Aria watched, waiting. Time stretched. Then Lucien lowered the gun. No. Death is too easy. You're going to live in a cell, forgotten, powerless, for the rest of your miserable life. He turned to Aria. Call the police. Anonymous tip. Tell them where to find her. Aria pulled out her phone. Sirens in the distance, getting closer. Elena stared up at Lucien. This isn't over. Yes, it is. They left her there, bleeding, screaming. Lucien and Aria carried Reyna between them, stumbling through alleys, away from the sirens. They found another vehicle, abandoned, keys still in it. Aria drove. Lucien sat in back with Reyna, trying to stop her bleeding. Where am I going? Aria asked. I don't know, Lucien said. Anywhere, nowhere, just drive. So she did. Through the city, into the suburbs, beyond. As dawn broke, they pulled off the road, into a rest stop. Empty. Aria parked, turned to look at Lucien. He was covered in blood, exhausted, broken, but alive. What now? She whispered. Lucien met her eyes. I don't know. Your empire, gone. Your people, dead, scattered, or working for her. Your home, ash. Aria's throat tightened. So what do we have left? Lucien looked at her, really looked. Each other, he said quietly. If you'll still have me. Aria's hand shook on the steering wheel. She thought about everything, the alley, the blood, the death, the betrayal. She thought about Caleb, about Malik, about Marcus. She thought about the woman she'd been 3 weeks ago, weak, dependent, breakable, and the woman she was now, hard, capable, dangerous. Yes, she said finally. I'll have you. Lucien's hand found hers, held tight. In the back seat, Reyna stirred. Are we dead? She mumbled. No, Lucien said. We're alive. Feels the same? I know. Reyna's eyes focused on him. What? Now? Lucien looked out at the sunrise, at the empty highway, at the world that had tried to destroy him and failed. Now, he said, now we rebuild. From nothing, with nothing, and we make them regret ever thinking we were finished. Aria started the engine, and they drove toward whatever came next. End of part 3. The king lost his throne, the queen learned the cost, and the war just became personal. The motel was the kind of place where questions didn't get asked. $30 cash. No ID required. Peeling wallpaper and a mattress that sagged in the middle. But it had a door that locked and windows that faced the parking lot,
and right now that was enough. Aria helped Lucien get Reyna inside. They laid her on the bed. Her breathing was shallow but steady. The bullet had gone through her side, clean, lucky, but she'd lost blood. Lucien collapsed into a chair by the window. His face was gray. Sweat beaded on his forehead. "You need a hospital," Aria said. "So does she." "I meant both of you." "Can't. Hospitals ask questions, file reports. We go there, we're dead within hours." Aria grabbed towels from the bathroom, started cleaning Reyna's wound with bottled water and the first aid kit she'd found in the stolen car's glove compartment. "I don't know what I'm doing," she said. "You're doing fine." "She could die." "She could, but she won't. Reyna's too stubborn." On the bed, Reyna's eyes cracked open. "Damn, right," she whispered. Aria nearly dropped the towel. "You're awake." "Unfortunately," Reyna tried to sit up, failed. "How bad?" "Through and through. You'll live." "Good, because I need to kill Marcus again." She coughed, blood on her lips. "Easy," Lucien said. "He's dead. You made sure of that." "One shot. Could have missed." "You didn't." Reyna's eyes closed again. "Your aunt, Elena. She's the one?" "Yes." "All this time. Right under your nose." "I know. Didn't see it coming." "Neither did I." Reyna's hand reached out blindly, found Lucien's, gripped it. "We'll kill her, right?" Lucien's jaw tightened. "She's going to prison. Federal custody. She'll never see daylight again." "Not good enough." "It has to be." Reyna's grip loosened. She drifted back into unconsciousness. Aria finished bandaging the wound. It wasn't professional, but it would hold. She turned to Lucien. "Your turn." "I'm fine." "Your leg is broken." "Fractured. There's a difference." "Lucien, I said I'm fine." But when he tried to stand, his leg buckled. He caught himself on the chair, breathing hard. Aria moved to his side. "Let me see it." "Aria, let me see it." He relented. She carefully rolled up his pant leg. The bone wasn't protruding, that was good, but the swelling was massive, purple and black, angry. "You need a real doctor." "I need aspirin and duct tape." "That's insane. That's reality." Lucien pulled a bottle of pills from his pocket, swallowed 3 dry. "I've had worse." "When?" "Before you knew me. Before any of this." He leaned back, closed his eyes. "We need to move. Soon. This place isn't safe." "Nowhere's safe." "Exactly. So we pick the least unsafe option and keep moving." Aria sat on the edge of the bed. Exhaustion crashed over her like a wave. "How did we get here?" "Which part?" "All of it. 3 weeks ago, I was—" She stopped. "I don't even remember who I was." "You were someone's victim. And now? Now you're mine." The words should have sounded possessive, threatening. Instead, they sounded like an anchor. Aria looked at him. "What's the plan?" "Survive today. Make a plan tomorrow." "That's not a plan." "It's the only one I have." Lucien opened his eyes. Elena took everything, bank accounts, properties, connections. She spent years building a parallel network, people loyal to her, not me. People I trusted. And when she was ready, she flipped the switch. How long was Marcus working for her? From the beginning. He was her plant. Probably others too. Lucien's hands clenched into fists. "I built my empire on sand. Didn't even know it." "So we start over." "With what? We have no money, no resources, no allies, just a stolen car and whatever cash is in my wallet." Aria pulled out her own wallet, counted. $43. "I have 60. So we have $103, a dying woman, a broken leg, and half the underworld looking for us. When you put it that way, it sounds bad." "It is bad." Lucien almost smiled. "Yes, it is." They sat in silence. Outside, traffic hummed. Somewhere, a siren wailed. The world kept turning, indifferent to their collapse. "There's one thing," Lucien said finally. "What?"
Elena doesn't know about the offshore accounts. Aria's head snapped up. What offshore accounts? The ones I never told anyone about. Not Marcus, not Reyna, no one. He pulled a phone from his inner jacket pocket, different from the one he'd been using, older, simpler. Burner, with access codes to accounts in the Caymans, about 3 million, give or take. Aria stared. You had $3 million hidden away and didn't mention it. Paranoia has its benefits. That's not paranoia, that's... She stopped. That's survival. Same thing in my world. Aria stood, paced. Okay, 3 million. That's something. We can use that to... What? Rebuild? Disappear? Both, neither. I don't know yet. Lucien shifted, wincing as his leg protested. First, we need medical supplies, real ones, antibiotics, bandages, painkillers. Reyna's wound could get infected. My leg needs to be set properly. How do we get that without going to a hospital? There are people, doctors who work off the books. For the right price, they'll treat anyone. You know someone? I used to. Question is whether they're still loyal or if Elena got to them too. Only one way to find out. Lucien pulled out the burner phone, dialed from memory. It rang, once, twice, 3 times. A voice answered, cautious. Yes? It's Varek. Pause. I heard you were dead. You heard wrong. What do you want? Medical attention. Discreet? I can pay. Another pause. Where? Lucien gave the motel address. 2 hours. Cash only. The line went dead. Lucien pocketed the phone. He'll come to... How do you know? Because I paid for his daughter's college education. He owes me. And if he brings Elena's people? Then we die. But at least we'll die trying. Aria wanted to argue, wanted to say there had to be another way, but she knew there wasn't. This was their life now. Calculated risks, impossible odds, death around every corner. I need to get supplies, she said. Food, water, clothes that aren't covered in blood. Take the car. There is a strip mall 2 miles east. Should have everything you need. You'll be okay alone? Lucien gestured to the gun on the nightstand. I'll manage. Aria grabbed the keys, paused at the door. If something happens, it won't. But if it does, then you run. You take the money and you disappear. You hear me? Aria's throat tightened. I'm not leaving you. You will if I tell you to. No, I won't. They stared at each other, a standoff. Finally, Lucien looked away. Just be careful. Always. Aria left. The strip mall was exactly what she expected. Dollar store, pharmacy, fast food joints, security cameras everywhere. Aria kept her head down, moved fast, grabbed what they needed, first aid supplies, water, protein bars, cheap clothes, paid cash. Didn't make eye contact. As she left the pharmacy, she felt it, the prickling sensation at the back of her neck. Someone watching. She scanned the parking lot. Nothing obvious, just people coming and going, living their normal lives. But the feeling didn't go away. Aria walked to the car, unlocked it, slid inside. A voice from the back seat. Drive. Her blood turned to ice. In the rearview mirror, a man. 30s, scar across his cheek, gun pointed at her head. Who are you? Aria's voice was steady, surprising herself. Someone who's been looking for you. Now drive. Or I put a bullet in your spine and drive myself. Aria's hands gripped the wheel. Options raced through her mind. Scream, run, fight. All ended with her dead. She started the engine. Where? East. I'll tell you when to turn. Aria pulled out of the parking lot. Her mind spun. This wasn't random. He'd been waiting for her, watching. How did you find me? She asked. Elena has eyes everywhere. You really thought you could just disappear? She's in custody. The man laughed. For now. But she's got friends, people who'll make sure she walks. And when she does, everyone who crossed her is dead, including you. I didn't cross her. Lucien did? You chose him, that's enough. They drove in silence, through neighborhoods, past shuttered businesses, into industrial areas. Aria's pulse hammered. She needed to do something, anything. Turn here, the man said. She turned, into an alley, narrow, dead end. Stop. She stopped. Get out. Slow. Aria opened the door, stepped out. The man followed, gun trained on her. Elena wanted me to give you a message, he said. What message? That loyalty matters, and disloyalty has consequences. He raised the gun. Aria moved. Faster than thought. Muscle memory from Reina's training. She twisted, grabbed his wrist, forced the gun up. It went off. The bullet sparked off brick. They struggled. Aria's fingers found his eyes, gouged. He screamed, shoved her back. She hit the car. Hard. Air knocked from her lungs. The man recovered, aimed again. Aria grabbed the car door, swung it wide. It caught him in the arm. The gun flew. They both lunged for it. Aria got there first. She didn't hesitate. Fired. The man went down, clutching his leg, screaming. Aria stood over him, gun shaking in her hands. Who else is coming? She demanded. Go to hell. She fired again. Into the concrete beside his head. Who else? I don't know. I was just supposed to grab you, bring you in. Where? Warehouse, Pier 47. That's all I know, I swear. Aria's finger tightened on the trigger. She could do it, should do it. One more body in a life already full of them. But something stopped her. Tell Elena, Aria said quietly, that if she wants me, she can come get me herself. She got back in the car, drove away, left him bleeding in the alley. Her hands didn't stop shaking until she was 3 miles away. When she got back to the motel, Lucien was standing by the window, gun in hand. You're late, he said. I got delayed. Aria set down the bags. We have a problem. What kind? The kind where Elena's people are hunting us. One found me at the strip mall. Lucien's expression darkened. Where is he now? Alive. Bleeding. I let him go. Why? Because I'm not a killer. Yes, you are. You just don't want to be. Aria's jaw clenched. There's a difference. Not anymore. Lucien moved away from the window. What did he say? That Elena has people everywhere. That she'll walk. That we're dead. Anything useful? A location. Pier 47. Warehouse. That's where they were taking me. Lucien went still. That's one of my old properties. I sold it 6 months ago. To who? A shell company. I didn't ask questions. His hands clenched. Elena. It was always Elena. A knock at the door. They both froze. Lucien raised his gun. Aria grabbed hers. Who is it? Lucien called. Dr. Chen. You called me. Lucien looked through the peephole, nodded, opened the door. An older Asian man entered, carrying a medical bag. He saw the guns and didn't flinch. I need to see the patient. Lucien gestured to Reina. Dr. Chen examined her quickly, efficiently. Checked vitals. Redressed the wound. She's stable, lucky, needs rest and antibiotics. He handed Lucien a bottle of pills. 3 times a day, full course. Thank you. Your leg. It can wait. No. Can't. Sit. Lucien sat. Dr. Chen examined the leg. His expression was grim. Tibial fracture. Needs to be immobilized, properly. Can you do it here? Yes, but it won't be pleasant. Nothing ever is. Dr. Chen worked. Aria watched as he set the bone, wrapped it, created a makeshift cast from supplies in his bag. Lucien's face went white. Sweat poured down his temples, but he didn't make a sound. When it was done, Dr. Chen stood. That'll hold, but you need real treatment. Surgery probably, pins. Later. There might not be a later if you don't. I said later. Dr. Chen nodded. 2,000. Lucien pulled cash from his wallet, handed it over. Dr. Chen counted it, pocketed it. I was never here. I know. The doctor left. Lucien leaned back, closed his eyes. You okay? Aria asked. Define okay. Alive, conscious, not screaming. Then yes, I'm okay. Aria sat beside him. We can't stay here. I know. And we can't run forever. I know that too. So what do we do? Lucien opened his eyes, looked at her. We finish it. How? The warehouse, Pier 47.
That's not just a location. That's a message. Elena wants us to come. She's practically inviting us. That's insane. It's obviously a trap. Of course it's a trap, but it's also an opportunity. For what? To end this. On our terms. Not hers. Aria stared at him. You want to walk into a trap deliberately? Yes.
With a broken leg, a dying woman, and me.
Yes.
That's suicide. Probably. Then why? Because running means she wins. She takes everything, my name, my legacy, my life, and yours. But if we fight, if we go to her, we control the narrative. We force her hand, or we die.
Yes, that's also a possibility. Aria stood, paced. This is insane. You keep saying that. Because it keeps being true. Lucian struggled to his feet, leaned on the back of the chair. I'm not asking you to come with me. If you want out, this is your chance. Take the money. Disappear. Live. Without you. Yes. And you'll what? Hobble into Elena's warehouse alone and die like a martyr? If that's what it takes. Why?
Because she doesn't get to win. Not after everything. Not after what she took. What she destroyed.
His voice broke. I gave her everything. Loyalty, respect, trust. And she burned it all. Burned me. And I won't let that stand. Aria moved to him. Stood close. You're not doing this alone. Aria said, I said you're not doing this alone. We started this together. We finish it together. You could die. Then I die. But I'm not leaving you. Lucian's hand came up, cupped her face. You're insane, he said softly. I learned from the best. He kissed her, slow, deep, like it might be the last time. When they broke apart, Aria rested her forehead against his. When do we go? She whispered. Tonight. Why tonight? Because Elena will expect us to run, to hide, to plan. She won't expect us to come immediately. That's our advantage. A tiny advantage. It's all we have. Behind them, Reyna stirred, coughed. Did someone say, we're attacking Elena? Lucian turned. You're supposed to be resting. Resting is for the dead. Reyna sat up, slowly, painfully. You go, I go. You can barely move. I can shoot. That's all that matters. Reyna, don't. Don't you dare. Leave me behind. Not now. Not after everything. Her eyes were fierce, unrelenting. She took everything from me, too. I want payback. Lucian looked at her, then at Aria, then out the window at the dying light. Fine, he said. We all go. We all fight. We all survive, or we all die. Together, Aria said. Together, Reyna echoed. Lucian nodded. Together. Night came fast. They prepared in silence, checking weapons, loading magazines. Aria's hands were steady now, no shaking, just cold, mechanical purpose. Reyna strapped on body armor over her bandages. Lucian fashioned a crutch from a broom handle. They looked like what they were, broken, desperate, dangerous. Rules of engagement, Lucian said. We go in quiet. Survey the situation. If we can take Elena alive, we do. But if it's her or us, it's her, Reyna finished. Exactly. What about her people? Aria asked. Anyone pointing a gun at us is an enemy. Treat them accordingly. Meaning? Meaning shoot first, ask questions later. Aria nodded. The woman she'd been would have been horrified. The woman she was now just accepted it. They left the motel at midnight, drove through empty streets. The city looked different at this hour. Hollowed out. Ghostly. Pier 47 was in the industrial district. Warehouses lined the waterfront, most abandoned, some still operational. The one they wanted sat at the end, isolated. Dark except for a single light over the entrance. Lucien parked 3 blocks away. We walk from here. They moved through shadows. Reyna was slow but steady. Lucien used the crutch, jaw clenched against pain. Aria scouted ahead, eyes scanning, looking for guards, cameras, traps. Nothing. Too quiet. They reached the warehouse. The front door was unlocked. She's expecting us, Reyna whispered. I know, Lucien said. Could still be a trap. It is a trap. Question is how bad. They entered. The warehouse was massive. Open floor plan, catwalks overhead, shipping containers stacked along the walls. And in the center, light. A single spotlight illuminating a figure. Elena. She sat in a chair, hands folded, smiling. Nephew, so good of you to come. Lucien stepped into the light. Aria and Reyna flanking him. Where are your people? Lucien asked. Around, watching, waiting. Elena stood. I told them not to interfere unless necessary. I wanted this moment. Just us. Family. We're not family. No. I suppose we're not. Not anymore. She circled them slowly. You look terrible, by the way. The leg, Reyna's wound, and this one, she looked at Aria. This is the woman who started all this. The wife. How poetic. She didn't start anything, Lucien said. You did. I finished something. There's a difference. Why, Elena? Why all of this? Elena stopped circling, faced him directly. Because you forgot where you came from. Who made you? You were nothing when I found you. A scared boy whose parents died in a drive-by. No money, no prospects, no future. And I gave you everything. Taught you, raised you, built you into a king. And then tried to destroy me. Because you betrayed me. You pushed me out of my own organization, made decisions without me, treated me like I was obsolete. You were killing people unnecessarily, making enemies. I was maintaining order, but you, young, idealistic, stupid, you thought there was a better way, so I let you try. And you know what I discovered? She smiled. You were good, really good, better than I expected, and that terrified me. Lucien's gun stayed trained on her. So you decided to take it all back. I decided to remind you that nothing lasts forever. Power, loyalty, love, all temporary, all fragile, and all mine to destroy when I choose. You're insane. No, I'm practical. You're the one who fell in love, she gestured to Aria, with a liability. Let emotion cloud judgment. That's weakness, and weakness gets you killed. Then kill me, Lucien said. That's why we're here, right? That's the end game. So do it. Elena pulled a gun from her jacket. Gladly. She aimed. Aria moved. Threw herself in front of Lucien. No! The shot echoed through the warehouse. Aria felt the impact, felt herself falling, but no pain. She looked down. No blood. She looked up. Elena was on the ground, gun fallen, clutching her hand, screaming. Behind her, a figure emerged from the shadows. Marcus. No, not Marcus. Someone who looked like Marcus. Same build, same face, but alive. What? Lucien started. The figure spoke. I'm not Marcus. I'm his brother, Miguel. And I've been working with the FBI for 3 years. Elena Varric, you're under arrest for racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, and about 40 other charges. Lights flooded the warehouse. Agents poured in from every entrance. Weapons drawn. Elena tried to run. Didn't get 3 steps before she was tackled, cuffed. Lucien stood frozen. What the hell is happening? Miguel approached. We've been building a case against Elena for years. Marcus was our informant. When he died, I took his place. Been feeding her false information, leading her into traps. Tonight was the culmination. You used us as bait. Yes, I'm sorry. But we needed her to make a move, to expose herself. And she did. Miguel looked at Aria. You okay? Aria nodded, couldn't speak. Elena was being dragged away, screaming, thrashing. This isn't over, you hear me? I'll be out in a week. I'll destroy all of you. No, Miguel said calmly. You won't. We have everything. Records, testimony, evidence. You're done. Elena's screams faded as they took her outside. Miguel turned back to Lucien. You're free to go. No charges. Clean slate. Lucien stared at him. Just like that? Just like that. Elena was the target, not you. You're collateral damage. But you're also a witness. We'll need statements, cooperation. And if I refuse?
Then we make your life very difficult. But I'm hoping you're smarter than that. Lucien looked at Aria, at Reina, at the agents swarming the warehouse. Fine, he said. We'll cooperate. Good. Miguel handed him a card. Call this number tomorrow. We'll set up a meeting. He walked away. Lucien, Aria, and Reina stood there, surrounded by chaos, feeling nothing. Is it over? Aria whispered. I don't know, Lucien said. What do we do now? Lucien looked at the card in his hand, then at the warehouse, then at the city beyond. Now? He said. Now we figure out who we are without the war. What? They left the warehouse together. Outside, the city was waking up, dawn breaking over the skyline, light cutting through darkness. Aria took Lucien's hand, held tight. We survived, she said. Barely. Still counts. Lucien pulled her close, kissed her forehead. What do you want? He asked. Really want. If you could have anything. Aria thought about it. Peace, quiet, a life that doesn't involve guns and blood and death. That sounds boring. That sounds perfect. Lucien smiled, actually smiled. Then let's go find it. They walked toward the car, Reina trailing behind. As they drove away from the warehouse, from the war, from Elena, from everything, Aria looked out the window. The city stretched endlessly, full of possibility, full of danger, full of life. And for the first time in weeks, she felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. But as they turned the corner, a black SUV pulled out behind them. Following. Aria saw it in the side mirror. Lucien, I see it. He accelerated. The SUV matched their speed. I thought it was over, Aria said. So did I. The SUV got closer. Closer. Then it pulled alongside them. Window rolled down. A face appeared. Not Elena's people, not FBI. Someone new. Someone Aria didn't recognize. The person smiled, raised a phone, showed them a photo. Lucien. Aria, together, leaving the warehouse. Then text appeared on the screen. She's not the only one who wants revenge. See you soon. The SUV sped away, disappeared into traffic. Lucien's hands tightened on the wheel. It's not over, he said quietly. No, Aria agreed. It's not. But this time they were ready, because they'd learned the most important lesson. In their world, the war never really ends. It just changes shape. End of part 4. The queen fell. The king caught her. And the real war is just beginning. The message on the phone burned into Aria's mind like a brand. She's not the only one who wants revenge. See you soon. Lucien drove in silence, his knuckles white on the steering wheel, jaw clenched so tight Aria could see the muscle jumping beneath his skin. Who was that? She asked. I don't know. Lucien, I said, I don't know. His voice was sharp, then softer. But I have suspicions. What suspicions? Elena wasn't working alone. She couldn't have been. The scale of what she did, the coordination, the resources, she had backing, real backing. From who? That's the question I've been trying to answer for 3 weeks. Reina leaned forward from the back seat, face pale but alert. The families. Has to be. Someone from the old guard, the ones who resented your rise. Lucien nodded slowly. Constantine. The name fell like a stone into dark water. Aria looked between them. Who's Constantine? Konstantin Volkov, Lucien said. Russian, old school, runs the Eastern Territories. We had an understanding, stay out of each other's way, but he always thought I was too young, too American, too soft. You think he helped Elena? I think Elena needed someone with resources she didn't have. Konstantin has those resources, and a grudge. So what do we do? Lucien was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled the car over, stopped on a deserted stretch of road, turned to face both of them. We end it, tonight, before he has a chance to make the first move. With what? Reina demanded. We're barely standing. You have a broken leg. I have a hole in my side. Aria's never done this before. And we're going against Constantine? That's suicide. Yes, it probably is. Then why? Because I'm tired, Reyna. I'm tired of running, tired of reacting, tired of being hunted.
Lucien's eyes were hollow, exhausted. I want this over, one way or another. Aria reached across the seat, took his hand. If we do this, if we really do this, we do it smart, not desperate. How? We use what we have, leverage, information, the fact that he doesn't know we know. Lucien looked at her. Keep talking. He sent that message to intimidate us, to make us run or panic or make mistakes. But what if we don't? What if we go to him, on our terms, before he's ready? That's insane. Everything we've done has been insane. This is just one more thing. Reyna coughed. She's right. Constantine expects us to hide, to regroup, not to attack. Lucien stared out the windshield, thinking, calculating. His compound is in the industrial park, north side. 20 men minimum, cameras, guards. It's a fortress. Then we don't attack the fortress, Aria said. We make him come to us. How? By offering him something he wants more than revenge. Which is? Aria met his eyes. Me. The car went silent. No, Lucien said immediately. Absolutely not. Think about it. Elena used me as bait. Constantine probably knows about me, knows I'm the reason you're vulnerable. What if we use that? Offer me up, lure him out, and when he comes, we kill him, Reyna finished. Aria, Lucien started. I'm not asking permission. I'm telling you this is the play. It's too dangerous. Everything's too dangerous. But this might actually work. Lucien's hand tightened on hers. If something goes wrong, then you save me. Like you did before. I almost didn't save you then. But you did. And you will again. They stared at each other, a lifetime of words passing in silence. Finally, Lucien nodded. Fine. But we do this my way. My rules. Understand? Understood. Reyna? I'm in, obviously, not like I have anywhere else to be. Lucien pulled out the burner phone, dialed from memory. It rang, once, twice. A voice answered, thick accent, Russian. Who is this? You know who it is. Pause. Lucien, I heard you were, having difficulties. I want to meet. Why would I meet with a dead man? Because I have something you want. And you have something I need. I have many things. You have nothing. I have the woman. The one Elena wanted. The one you're going to use to finish what she started. Silence. You're offering her to me? I'm offering a trade. Her life for mine. You let me walk away. Clean. No retaliation. And she's yours. More silence. Then, you would sell her to save yourself. How very practical. I'm a practical man. Yes. You are. Very well. I accept. Midnight. The old steel mill. You know the place. I know it. Come alone. Bring the woman. If I see anyone else, the deal is off and you both die. Understood. The line went dead. Lucien set down the phone, looked at both of them. He bought it. You sure? Reyna asked. No, but it's the best we're going to get. Aria's pulse was a drumbeat in her ears. What's the plan? We go to the steel mill. I hand you over. He'll want to gloat. Monologue. These old school types always do. While he's distracted, Reyna takes position. Sniper shot. Clean. Quick. And if he brings his army? Then we die. But we take him with us. That's not much of a plan. It's all I have. Aria nodded. Then it'll have to be enough. The hours until midnight crawled. They found another motel. Cheaper than the last. Paid cash. Didn't bother with luggage. Lucien spent the time on the burner phone, making calls, cashing in favors from people who still owed him. By the time the sun set, he'd acquired what they needed. A high-powered rifle for Reyna, body armor, ammunition, and a vest rigged with a panic button that would trigger an emergency call to the FBI contact, Miguel. Last resort, Lucien explained, strapping the vest onto Aria. If everything goes wrong, you hit this button. FBI floods the place.
You might survive. Might. Better than definitely dying. Aria looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. The vest was hidden under a jacket. She looked normal, scared, human. 3 weeks ago, she would have been terrified. Now she just felt numb. Reyna sat on the bed, field stripping the rifle. Her movements were slow but precise. She'd tied her wound tighter, taken painkillers, but Aria could see the exhaustion in her eyes. "You shouldn't be doing this," Aria said. "Probably not, but here we are." "Why? Why are you still here? You could have left, disappeared, started over." Reyna was quiet for a moment. "Because Lucien saved me, long time ago, when I was someone else, someone worse. And I owe him, more than I can ever repay." "What happened to you?" "Same thing that happened to you. Bad man, bad marriage, bad ending, except no one saved me. I had to save myself." She loaded the rifle. "Cost me everything. My family, my name, my soul, maybe. But I survived. And when I met Lucien, he gave me purpose, direction, a reason to keep surviving." "Do you love him?" Reyna's hand stilled. "Not the way you do, but yes, in my way." Aria sat beside her. "If I don't make it, don't. If I don't, take care of him. Don't let him destroy himself." Reyna looked at her. "If you don't make it, he'll destroy himself anyway. You're the only reason he's still fighting. You know that, right?" Aria's throat tightened. "I'm nobody. Just some woman who got thrown in an alley." "No, you're the woman who survived, who fought back, who chose him. That matters. More than, you know." Lucien appeared in the doorway. "It's time." They gathered their gear, checked weapons one last time. As they left the motel, Aria took one last look at the room. At the bed she'd never sleep in again. At the mirror that reflected a woman she barely recognized. Then she followed Lucien into the night. The old steel mill sat on the edge of the city like a corpse, rusted, decaying, abandoned for decades, the kind of place where sound echoed and blood dried to rust indistinguishable from the metal. Lucien parked a quarter-mile away. They approached on foot. Reyna peeled off early, finding a position with a clear line of sight. She'd set up 200 yards out, high ground, perfect angle. Lucien and Aria walked the rest of the way together. "You remember the plan?" he asked. "Keep him talking, stay visible, don't panic. And if shooting starts, drop, cover, survive." "Good." They reached the entrance. A chain-link fence rusted open. Beyond it, the mill stretched into darkness. Light spilled from the main structure. Generators humming. Someone had set up for this. They walked inside. The space was massive, cathedral-like. Catwalks crisscrossed overhead. Old machinery scattered like gravestones. And in the center, Constantine. He stood beside a table, tall, 60s. Gray hair slicked back. Expensive suit that looked obscene in the industrial decay. Around him, 12 men, all armed, all watching, more than expected. Lucien's hand tightened on Aria's arm. "Stay close." They approached. Constantine smiled. "Lucien, you actually came. I'm impressed." "I keep my word." "Yes, you do. It's one of your better qualities." Constantine's eyes slid to Aria. "And this is the woman, the one who started all this." "I didn't start anything," Aria said. "No? Your husband offered you as leverage. You survived. Lucien saved you. Elena used you. And now here you are, the Helen of Troy of the underworld. How poetic." "Enough," Lucien said. "We had a deal." "Yes, a deal. You give me her. I let you walk away." Constantine circled them slowly. "But I'm curious. Why would you trade her? I've heard rumors that you care, perhaps even love." "Love is a liability. So is stupidity, and coming here was very stupid." Lucien's expression didn't change. "The deal?" "Oh, the deal stands. I'm a man of my word. She stays. You go." Constantine stopped in front of Aria. "But first I want to know, what is it about you? Why did Elena hate you so much?
Why does Lucien value you so highly? Aria met his eyes. Because I refuse to be what people want me to be. A victim, a pawn, a prize. I'm none of those things. Then what are you? Dangerous. Constantine laughed. I like her. It's almost a shame. A shame for what? Lucien asked. That I have to kill you both. The words landed like a bomb. Lucien moved, fast, gun drawn, but Constantine was faster. He grabbed Aria, yanked her in front of him. Human shield. His men raised their weapons. Standoff. Did you really think I'd let you walk away? Constantine's voice was amused. Elena was useful, but sloppy, emotional. I'm neither, and I've been planning this for months, longer. Planning what? Your complete erasure. Elena weakened you. The FBI arrested her, and now I finish what she started. Take your territory, your assets, your legacy, all of it. You're insane. No, I'm ambitious. There's a difference. Lucien's gun didn't waver. Let her go. Why? She's the only reason you haven't shot me already. She's leverage, just like her husband said. Constantine's arm tightened around Aria's throat. Drop the gun, or I snap her neck. Lucien's jaw clenched. Now, Lucien. Slowly, Lucien lowered the gun, set it on the ground. Good. Now kick it away. He did. Constantine smiled. Much better. Now we can talk like civilized. The shot cut through the air. Constantine's head snapped back. Blood sprayed, he dropped. Aria stumbled forward, gasping. Lucien grabbed her, pulled her down as gunfire erupted. Constantine's men opened fire blindly, trying to find the shooter. Reyna fired again and again. Precise. Lethal. Men dropped. Lucien retrieved his gun. Returned fire. Aria pressed herself against a machine, heart hammering. The world a chaos of sound and fury. Move! Lucien shouted. To the east exit! They ran. Bullets sparked off metal. Concrete exploded in chunks. Reyna provided cover, each shot a death sentence. They reached a side door. Lucien kicked it open. Outside, into the night. They kept running. Behind them, shouting. More gunfire, but distant now. They reached the car, piled in. Lucien drove, fast, away from the mill, away from the death. 5 minutes later, Reyna's voice crackled over the radio. I'm clear, moving to rendezvous point. Copy, Lucien said. They drove in silence. Aria's hands shook. She pressed them against her knees, tried to breathe. You okay? Lucien asked. I don't know. Am I? You're alive. That's what matters. Is it over? Really over? Constantine's dead. Elena's in prison. The people who wanted us dead are gone. But that person in the SUV, probably Constantine's people, trying to intimidate us before the meeting. It doesn't matter now. Aria wanted to believe him, but something in her chest wouldn't settle. They picked up Reyna at the rendezvous point. She collapsed into the back seat, rifle across her lap, blood seeping through her bandage again. Need a hospital, she muttered. I know, Lucien said. We're going. Real one this time, not some back alley. Bullshit. Real one, I promise. They drove to a hospital on the far side of the city. Private, discreet. The kind that asked questions but accepted cash for silence. Lucien carried Reyna inside, Aria followed. They spent hours there. Doctors, questions, forms, money changing hands. Finally, a doctor emerged. She'll live. Surgery went well, but she needs rest. Real rest. Weeks, maybe months. Can we see her? Briefly. They entered the recovery room. Reyna lay in the bed, pale, tubes running into her arms, but breathing, steady. Her eyes opened when they approached. Did we win? She whispered. Yes, Lucien said. We won. Good. Because I'm too tired to do that again. You don't have to. It's over. Reyna's hand reached out, found Lucien's. Thank you. For everything. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. Her eyes slid to Aria. Take care of him. He's an idiot, but he's our idiot.
Aria smiled despite the tears. I will. Rena's eyes closed. Good. Now let me sleep for like a year. They left her there, safe, healing. Outside the hospital, dawn was breaking. Again. Another sunrise. Another day survived. Lucian leaned against the car, exhausted, broken, but alive. Aria stood beside him. What now? Now? He looked at her. Now we figure out what normal people do. We're not normal people. No, but maybe we could be. You think that's possible? I don't know, but I'd like to try. Aria took his hand. Where do we start? Somewhere far from here, somewhere quiet, somewhere no one knows our names. That sounds impossible. Probably, but so was surviving the last month. And we did that. Aria leaned into him, let herself feel the weight of everything, the fear, the grief, the exhaustion. And underneath it all, something else, something fragile and new. Hope. Okay, she said. Let's go be impossible somewhere else. 3 months later, Aria stood on a beach she didn't know the name of, in a country she'd never visited before. Watching waves crash against sand, the house behind her was small, simple, nothing like Lucian's estate, but it was theirs, paid for in cash. No names attached, no history, just a place to breathe. Lucien appeared beside her, handed her coffee. His leg had healed, mostly. He still limped when it rained, but the crutch was gone. You're up early, he said. Couldn't sleep. Nightmares? Memories. He understood. He had them too. The things they'd done. The people they'd lost. The blood on their hands. Raina called yesterday, Lucien said. How is she? Better. Out of the hospital. Physical therapy. She's thinking about opening a security company. Of course she is. She asked about you, wanted to know if you were okay. What did you tell her? That you're learning to be. Aria sipped her coffee. Am I? Are you? She thought about it. Really thought. I don't know. Some days I wake up and I'm fine, normal, like none of it happened. And other days, she stopped. Other days I see Caleb's face, or that alley, or blood on concrete, and I remember what I did, who I became. You became a survivor. I became a killer. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Aria looked at him. Do you regret it? Any of it? Lucien was quiet for a long time. I regret what it cost. The people who died, the lives destroyed. But do I regret saving you, meeting you, building this with you? He shook his head. No, never. Even though it almost killed you, especially because of that. You're the first thing in my life I chose because I wanted to. Not because it was strategic, not because it served a purpose, just because. His hand found hers. And I'd do it all again, every terrible decision, every stupid risk, if it meant ending up here, with you. Aria's throat tightened. I killed my husband. He tried to kill you first. I shot a man in an alley and left him bleeding. He was hunting you. I walked into a war zone and people died. People who chose that life. Who knew the risks. I'm not a good person, Lucian. Neither am I. But maybe we can be good people together, in our own broken way. Aria turned to face him. What if it's not over? What if someone else comes? What if... Then we deal with it, together, like we've dealt with everything else. And if we can't, then we die. But at least we'll die free. Aria searched his eyes, looking for doubt, for lies, for the cracks that always appeared eventually. She found none, just certainty, raw and absolute. I love you, she said. The words felt strange, foreign, but true. Lucian pulled her close. I know. I've known since you dove into black water to save me. When did you know you loved me? The moment I saw you in that alley, broken, bleeding, refusing to die. I looked at you and thought, that's someone worth saving. That's someone worth everything. Aria kissed him, slow, deep, tasting salt and coffee and the promise of something like peace. When they pulled apart, the sun was fully risen, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. What do we do today?
Aria asked. Whatever we want. We're free, remember? Free. That's going to take some getting used to.
We have time. They walked back to the house, hand in hand, two people who'd survived the impossible, who'd built something from ashes. Inside, Aria's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. She almost didn't look, almost deleted it, but something made her open it. A single sentence. Enjoy your peace while it lasts. Some debts never get paid. Aria's blood ran cold. She showed Lucien. He read it, expression unreadable. Well, he said finally, I guess we're not done yet. I thought it was over. It's never really over, not in our world. Then what do we do? Lucien set down his coffee, pulled out the burner phone he'd kept, dialed a number. Who are you calling? Miguel, the FBI agent. If someone's still coming for us, we need to know who, and we need to end it permanently. The phone rang. Aria's hands trembled. Hey, Lucien said softly. Look at me. She did. We survived Elena. We survived Constantine. We'll survive this too, because we're not alone anymore. We have each other. And that makes us stronger than anything they can throw at us. You really believe that? I have to, because the alternative is giving up. And I didn't come this far to give up now. Miguel answered. Lucien explained. The message, the threat, the pattern. Miguel was quiet on the other end. Then, I'll look into it, see if any of Elena's or Constantine's people are still active. But Lucien, you need to be careful. If someone's targeting you, they're not going to stop. I know. Maybe you should consider witness protection, new identities, complete disappearance. Lucien looked at Aria, asking without words. She shook her head. No more running. Lucien nodded. We're not running. We're done running. But we will take precautions. And Miguel, if you find whoever's behind this, you call me first. Before the FBI. Before anyone, understand? That's not protocol. I don't care about protocol. I care about ending this. Do we have an understanding? Pause. Yes. We have an understanding. Good. Lucien hung up. Aria stood there, processing. So what now? She asked. Now we wait, we watch, and we prepare. Prepare for what? War. One more time. And this time, we make sure it's the last. 2 weeks passed. Miguel called with information. The message had been sent from a burner phone in the city, registered to a shell company, dead end. But he'd found something else. A name. A ghost from Lucien's past. Victor Sokolov, former associate of Constantine, thought to be dead, but very much alive, and very much hunting. He blames you, Miguel explained. For Constantine's death, for the territory losses, for everything. He's been building a case, gathering allies, planning. How long? Months, maybe longer. Lucien's jaw clenched. Where is he? We don't know yet, but we're looking. When we find him, when you find him, you tell me, nobody else, me. Lucien, that's the deal. Take it or leave it. Miguel sighed. Fine, but you can't kill him. If you do, I can't protect you. I'm not asking for protection. I'm asking for information. And when you get it, that's my problem. The call ended. Lucien told Aria everything. She listened, didn't interrupt, didn't panic. When he finished, she said, we end it. Tonight if possible, tomorrow if necessary. But we end it. You're sure? I'm tired of looking over my shoulder, tired of waiting for the next attack. If there's one more enemy, one more ghost from your past, we deal with it. Now, finally. Lucien studied her face. You've changed. Yes. How do you feel about that? Aria thought about the woman she'd been. Soft, breakable, dependent. That woman was dead. In her place. Someone harder, sharper, forged in blood and fire. I feel alive, she said. Awesome. It took Miguel 3 more days to find Victor, hiding in plain sight, running a nightclub in the city, using it as a front for his operations. Lucien and Aria drove back, left paradise behind, returned to the world that had nearly killed them. Reina met them at the city limits. She looked better, stronger. The wound had healed to a scar. You came back, she said. Had to. Victor? Yes. I'm coming with you. Reina, don't. Don't even try. You think I'd let you face him alone?
Lucian looked at Aria. She nodded. Fine, he said. One last time, all of us. Together. They planned carefully, methodically. The nightclub had security, cameras, guards, but it also had weaknesses. Reina would disable the cameras, create a blackout. 30 seconds. In those 30 seconds, Lucien and Aria would enter, find Victor, end him. Simple, clean, final, at least in theory. They arrived at midnight. The club was packed, music pounding, lights flashing, chaos.
Reina moved to the electrical panel, worked her magic. Lucien and Aria waited at the entrance. Last chance to walk away, Lucien said. Not a chance. If this goes wrong, it won't. But if it does, then we die trying. I can live with that. The lights went out. Darkness, screaming, confusion. Lucien grabbed Aria's hand. They moved through the crowd. Muscle memory, training, pure instinct. They reached the back. The VIP section, where Victor would be. The lights came back on. Victor sat on a leather couch, surrounded by women, drinking champagne. He saw them. His expression didn't change, just smiled. Lucien, I was wondering when you'd come. You've been hunting us. Yes, for months, and you walked right into my hands. How convenient. Lucien raised his gun. It's over, Victor. Is it? Look around. They did. Guards, everywhere. Weapons drawn. At least 20, trapped. Victor stood. Did you really think I'd be alone? After what happened to Constantine, to Elena? I learned from their mistakes. Which were? Underestimating you. Underestimating her. He gestured to Aria. The woman who started a war. Who toppled empires. Who refuses to die. I didn't start anything, Aria said. You did. All of you. By treating people like commodities. We are all commodities. That's the truth you still haven't accepted. We're all for sale. The only question is price. Wrong, Aria said. Some things aren't for sale, like dignity, like freedom, like the right to choose our own fate. Victor laughed. Philosophical, how quaint, but philosophy doesn't stop bullets. His men raised their weapons. Aria reached for the panic button on her vest, but Victor was faster. He grabbed her, yanked her forward. I don't think so. That vest you're wearing? I know about it. The FBI tracker, very clever, but useless if I take it off you. He ripped the vest away, threw it across the room. Lucien aimed at Victor. Shoot me and she dies, Victor said calmly. Stand off, again. Why? Lucien asked. Why does it have to be this way? Because you took what was mine. Territory, respect, fear, and I want it back. It was never yours. Everything is mine, until someone stronger takes it. That's the law. The only law that matters. Then take it. Victor's eyes narrowed. What? You want my territory? My legacy? Take it. It's yours. I'm done. You're lying. No, I'm tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of this life. You want it? It's yours. Just let her go. Victor studied him. You'd really walk away? For her? Yes. Pathetic. Maybe. But it's the truth. Victor's grip loosened on Aria, just slightly. It was enough. Aria drove her elbow into his ribs, twisted, broke free. Gunfire erupted. Lucien and Aria dropped, rolled behind cover. Reina appeared from nowhere. Rifle up, shooting with surgical precision. Victor's men fell. But there were too many. Bullets everywhere, concrete exploding, glass shattering. We need to move, Lucien shouted. They ran. Through the chaos, toward the exit. Victor's voice behind them. You can't run forever. But they didn't look back. They burst out into the night, into the street. A car screeched to a halt beside them, Miguel at the wheel. Get in! They piled in. Miguel drove like hell itself was chasing them. What are you doing here? Lucien demanded. Saving your ass. Again. The tracker went dead.
I figured something went wrong. You were right. Where to? Anywhere. Just drive. Miguel drove. Behind them, no pursuit, no sirens, just silence. After 10 minutes, Miguel pulled over. This ends now, he said. I'm bringing Victor in. Federal charges, racketeering, murder, trafficking, everything. He's done. He'll slip away, Lucian said. People like him always do. Not this time. I have evidence, testimony, recordings. He's finished. You're sure? I'm sure. Lucian looked at Aria. She nodded. Fine, Lucian said. End it, officially. But Miguel, if he walks, he won't, I promise you. This is over. Miguel drove them to a safe house. Federal. Secure. Stay here. A few days. Let me work. Then you're free. Really free. No more threats. No more ghosts. He left. Lucien, Aria, and Reina sat in the safe house. Exhausted. Broken. But alive. Think you'll do it? Reina asked. I don't know, Lucian said. But I hope so, because I meant what I said. I'm done. With all of it. Aria took his hand. What will you do instead? I don't know, something normal, something quiet. Maybe buy a bar or a bookstore. Something where people don't try to kill me. Reina smiled. A bookstore. You. That I'd pay to see. What about you? Aria asked her. Security company, like I said. Help people protect themselves without becoming what we became. That sounds good. Yeah, it does. They sat in silence. 3 survivors. 3 people who'd been to hell and back. And somehow, inexplicably, they'd made it through. 4 days later, Miguel called. It's done. Victor's in federal custody. Bail denied. Trial set for 6 months from now. But with the evidence we have, he's looking at life. Multiple life sentences. You're sure? I'm sure. It's over, Lucien. You're free. Lucian closed his eyes. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just live. Both of you. Live the lives you couldn't before. The call ended. Lucian turned to Aria. She was crying, silently, tears streaming down her face. He pulled her close, held her while she shook. It's over, he whispered. Really over. I can't believe it. Believe it. We're free. They held each other. 2 people who'd survived the impossible. 1 month later. Aria stood in a small bookstore, shelves lined with stories, windows looking out on a quiet street in a quiet town. Lucien was in the back, organizing inventory, limping less now, smiling more. A customer entered. Older woman, kind face. Can I help you? Aria asked. Just browsing. What a lovely shop. Thank you. We just opened. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. We need more places like this. The woman browsed, eventually bought 2 mystery novels, paid cash, left smiling. Aria watched her go, felt something settle in her chest, something that felt almost like peace. Lucien appeared beside her. First customer of the day. Second, someone bought a cookbook earlier. We're practically tycoons. Aria laughed, actually laughed. This is so different. From what? From everything. 3 months ago, people were trying to kill us. Now we're selling books. Is it better? Yes. God, yes. Lucien pulled her close, kissed her forehead. They stood there, in their little bookstore, in their little town, building their little life, and for the first time in longer than either could remember, they felt safe. That night, Aria found Lucien on the roof of their apartment, looking at stars. She sat beside him. What are you thinking about? She asked. The people we lost, the things we did, whether any of it mattered. Did it? I don't know. We survived. But at what cost? At the cost of becoming people we never thought we'd be. But also, Aria paused. Also at the cost of finding something worth living for. Lucian looked at her. You think that's enough? To justify everything? I think it has to be. Because we can't change the past. We can only choose what we do with the future. And what do? We live. We love. We build something good from the ashes of something terrible. Lucien's hand found hers.
You make it sound simple. It's not. But maybe it doesn't have to be complicated either. They sat in silence, watching stars, breathing. Two people who'd been forged in blood and fire. Two people who'd chosen each other when the world told them not to. Two people who'd survived. And in the end, that was enough. 6 months later, Reina visited. She brought wine, pasta, stories about her security company that was somehow thriving. They ate together, laughed together, talked about everything except the past. As Reina was leaving, she pulled Aria aside. "You did good," she said. "Did what?" "Saved him. From himself, from that life. He's different now, better." "I didn't save him. He saved himself." "No, you gave him a reason to. That's more important." Reina hugged her, brief, awkward, but real. Then she left. Aria returned to the apartment, found Lucien reading. She curled up beside him. "What are you reading?" He showed her the cover, a novel about second chances. "Is it good?" "I don't know yet, but I'm hopeful." Aria smiled. "Hopeful? That's new for you." "I'm trying new things." "Like what?" "Like believing happy endings are possible." "Are they?" Lucien set down the book, pulled her close. "I don't know about endings," he said, "but I know about right now. And right now, I'm exactly where I want to be, with exactly who I want to be with. And that's enough." Aria kissed him. "Yes, it is." 1 year after the alley. Aria woke to sunlight streaming through the windows. Lucien beside her, still asleep, breathing steady. She watched him for a moment. This man who'd saved her, who'd been saved by her. This man who'd been a monster and became something like human. She got up, made coffee, stood on their balcony. Below, the town was waking up. People going about their lives, normal, safe, oblivious. She thought about the woman she'd been, thrown from a car, left to die. That woman was gone. In her place, someone stronger, harder, but also somehow softer. Someone who'd learned that survival wasn't just about breathing. It was about choosing, every day, to live, to love, to hope, even when hope seemed impossible, especially then. Lucien appeared behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist. "Morning," he murmured against her neck. "Morning. What are you thinking about?" "Everything, nothing. How we got here."
"Regrets?" Aria thought about it, really thought. "No," she said finally. "No regrets. Just gratitude. That we survived. That we found each other. That we got a second chance. Not everyone gets a second chance." "I know. That's why I'm not wasting mine." They stood there, holding each other, as the sun rose over a world that had tried to destroy them and failed. And Aria realized something. She was free. Not because the threats were gone, not because the past was erased, but because she'd chosen to be free, chosen to let go of fear, of anger, of the need for revenge, chosen to build instead of destroy, to love instead of hate, to live instead of just survive. And in that choice, she'd found something more valuable than any empire. She'd found herself. 2 years later, a letter arrived from Elena in prison. Aria almost threw it away, but curiosity won. She opened it. The letter was short, handwritten, shaky. "Aria, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know I was wrong about you, about Lucien, about everything. You weren't weak. You were strong, strong enough to survive, strong enough to change him, strong enough to win. I spent my whole life believing power was control, that strength was dominance, that love was weakness. I was wrong about that too. You proved it by choosing him, by fighting for him, by building something good from something terrible. I'll die in here. That's my fate. But you get to live well, live fully, live the life I never could. And tell my nephew, tell Lucien, that I'm sorry for everything." Elena Aria read it twice, then she burned it. Not out of anger, out of closure. Some apologies didn't need to be accepted.
just acknowledged. Some chapters needed to end. Completely. She told Lucien about the letter that night. He listened, didn't react, just nodded. Does it change anything? She asked. No, the past is the past. She made her choices. We made ours. Do you forgive her? I don't know, maybe someday, but not today. That's fair. They moved on, because that's what survivors do. They move on. 5 years later, Aria stood in front of a mirror, adjusting a dress. Behind her, Lucien, in a suit, smiling. You ready? He asked. Yes? Are you? I've been ready since the day I met you. They walked out of the bookstore, which had become a cafe, which had become something like home, down the street to a small courthouse, where Reina waited, and Miguel, and a handful of people they'd met in this new life, people who didn't know their past, who saw them as just another couple, normal, happy. The ceremony was simple, no grand speeches, no drama, just vows. Lucien spoke first. I, Lucien, take you, Aria, to have and to hold, to protect and to cherish, in darkness and in light, for as long as we both shall live. Then Aria. I, Aria, take you, Lucien, to have and to hold, to stand beside and to lift up, in chaos and in peace, for as long as we both shall live. Rings exchanged. A kiss. Applause. Simple. Perfect. Afterward, Reina pulled Aria aside. You happy? Yes. For the first time in my life, really, truly happy. Good. You deserve it. So do you. Reina smiled. I'm working on it. 10 years later, Aria sat on a porch, watching sunset paint the sky. Lucien beside her, gray at the temples now, slower, but still here, still hers. What do you think about when you look back? She asked. Honestly? Always. I think about how close we came to dying, how many times we should have died, and how, against all odds, we didn't. Luck? No, choice. We chose to fight, to survive, to build something better. Was it worth it? Lucien looked at her. Every second. Aria leaned into him. I love you. I love you too. They sat in silence, watching the sun disappear. Two people who'd been broken and became whole. Two people who'd survived the impossible. Two people who'd chosen each other. Again and again and again. And in the end, that was their victory. Not the empire, not the revenge, not the defeat of their enemies, but the simple, quiet, beautiful act of choosing love over fear, of choosing life over death, of choosing each other. Every single day. "15 years later. Aria Vance, no Aria Varric now, stood in a cemetery. A single gravestone. Fresh flowers. Reina Santos. Friend. Fighter. Free. She'd passed peacefully, in her sleep, finally at rest after a lifetime of war. Lucien stood beside Aria. They didn't speak, just stood, remembering a woman who'd fought beside them, who'd saved them, who'd become family. After a while, they walked away, back to their car, back to their life. A life Reina had helped them build, helped them protect. She'd be proud, Lucien said. I know. Of you especially. Look at you, strong, independent, nothing like the woman I found in that alley. Aria smiled. I'm everything like that woman. I'm just better at hiding the scars. Aren't we all? They drove home, to the house they'd bought, the garden they'd planted, the life they'd built. And as they pulled into the driveway, Aria looked at Lucien. No regrets? She asked. Not a single one. Even the bad parts? Especially the bad parts, because they led to this, to you, to us. Aria nodded. Then I guess it was all worth it. It was. They walked inside and closed the door on the past. Finally, completely, ready to live the rest of their lives in peace, together. 20 years after the alley, Aria sat in the bookstore, older now, wiser, weathered, but alive. still alive. A young woman entered, bruised face, scared eyes, running from something. Aria recognized that look. She'd worn it once. "Can I help you?" Aria asked gently. The woman hesitated. I need somewhere to stay, just for a night. I can pay." "You don't have to pay. Come with me." Aria led her upstairs, to the apartment, where Lucian was reading. He looked up, saw the woman, understood immediately. "We have a spare room," he said. "It's yours, as long as you need it." The woman's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you helping me?" Aria smiled, sad, knowing. "Because someone helped me once, when I needed it most, and it saved my life." "Who?" Aria looked at Lucian. He looked back. "Someone who believed I was worth saving," Aria said. "And I'm passing that belief forward, to you." The woman stayed. And Aria and Lucian helped her, just as they'd been helped. Because that's what survivors do. They reach back. They pull others up. They refuse to let the darkness win. The end. Aria Vance was thrown from a car and left to die in an alley. But she didn't die. She fought. She survived. She transformed. From victim to warrior. From prey to predator. From broken to whole. And along the way, she found something she never expected. Love. Real love. The kind that doesn't break under pressure. The kind that's forged in fire and tempered in blood. The kind that saves. Not because it's easy, but because it's chosen. Every single day. And in a world that tried to destroy her, that choice was her greatest victory, her greatest weapon, her greatest revenge. She lived, she loved, she won,